And welcome in Out of Bounds here on 103.7 The Buzz. Appreciate everybody listening in on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. John Nabors, Chris Kane, got Ethan back there doing the ones and twos from the Hoggs Meat Market Studios with you today. And thank you as always for making us a part of your afternoon. This afternoon, it is going to be a lovely Trash Talk Thursday here on Out of Bounds. And we have a lot to get to today. We're going to do a little recapping of signing day. Give you the updates here from Sam Pittman. He got to meet with the media, Eric Musselman, as well as there's a Razorback basketball game going down tonight, NFL game tonight, some big sports stories that we'll try to make some fun into, as well as getting you ready once again for the Christmas holiday weekend. And what's going on, Chris Kane?
You're ready. You got the Santa hat on if you're watching online on YouTube or social media. I like the festive nature of today's show. Well, what is Santa going to talk trash about today?
I mean, what is he not going to talk trash about? It's just everything that's bothering me.
Yeah?
Well, there's been plenty of that. With signing day, there's always, trash talk.
Grievances to air.
But that's more so of what it is for Razorback fans, I feel like. More so than anything.
Well, yeah, I mean, and obviously it felt like, if you're a Razorback fan, your face was kind of pushed in it yesterday. Did you bite your lip over there?
Yeah, it was a little on the nose of how
or
much
on the billboard.
Troll, on the billboard or on the social media side of things. Man, we talked about it.
Is it a rivalry yet? Let me ask you this. Is it a rivalry now?
They are doing everything they can to make it one.
You and Justin Moore have both kind of said, I don't really care about him. Don't really care about him. Don't really care about him. Do you care now?
I think, yes. I mean, in the way of, I don't know, because here's the thing. I think me and you may have talked about this. When Houston Nutt was at Ole Miss, felt like it was more of a rivalry because of the guy.
We hated Ole Miss.
Yes.
But we both agreed, didn't really care about him before that.
Right.
Yes.
And it's kind of the same thing, I feel like, with Missouri. Don't really care about it, but is it more that people are hating Missouri, or is it more people are just hating Eli Drinkwitz? Because in all the other sports, they're irrelevant, and it's not like there's some sort of heat or some sort of anger or angst in any other regard. It's really just been Drinkwitz, and he's doing whatever he can to make it a rivalry. So,
I mean, do you think it, in your mind now, as someone who has kind of been pushing it off? And remember last time we talked about it, I said, how is this not? And I brought up, different factors of what could make this a game that Arkansas Razorback fans should care about more. And even then it was still kind of like, yeah, but now, top-rated player out of the state and his teammate, who's a good player too, not only go there, but then the school puts up billboards in their hometown. And then the social media stuff. Were those the missing ingredients that I needed to add to your rivalry drink?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, again, they're doing whatever they can to make it be one. And the fact that they used me personally so much into their Arkansas and Missouri rivalry, so much so they used me in their own hype video for everything, which I still am laughing about. It's almost like they, as a collective program,
they want it to be.
They want it to be.
We've known that.
Yes.
I mean, that's been obvious.
And they're doing, and I'll give them credit. They're doing the right things to make it one, because they are making it very easy to hate them.
But it felt like there was still something missing, even just before this, before getting the commitment from Crutchfield and his teammate down at Pine Bluff and the billboards. It felt like even still they were doing everything, even after the game.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like, not really.
Yeah. It felt like for at least
an arranged marriage.
Right. Yes.
And now it feels like, okay, we're going to be, we're going to be actual rivals now.
Right, because if you're using the analogy of an arranged marriage, which I agree with, now it's become where the wife is doing everything that she can to make the husband absolutely miserable and hate his life. And you resent him and you hate them for it. And now it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna try to do the same thing too. I'm gonna try to make their life miserable. And that's how a rivalry can be born. And I think that's...
Now it's game on.
Yeah, because now with Missouri handling it this way, it's like, yes, you are trying to make us miserable, and you're doing a good job of it.
It
so
absolutely feels intentional.
Yes, there is a lot going on with that. So,
but that's what it took. It's just it's fascinating to me watching this. Is like how I listened to the morning show and Justin Moore's like, I don't care, and I haven't heard his recent take on it. I need to ask him.
Right,
but you just kind of go, man, it just feels like it should be. And now I think the latest move has stamped it.
Yeah,
it's official. There's mutual hate instead of a one-sided.
And I also believe that with what Missouri football has done and what Drinkwitz has done, what makes it even more like annoying, I guess, is because this is their first winning season in a long time. Like, this is their first winning season that they've had. And it's a great season. Don't get me wrong. They had a lot of success. Give them a lot of kudos and praise for that. But for them to kind of take it to a whole next level thing where it's like, okay, you had a great year. You deserve to celebrate. I'd be doing the same thing if Arkansas was at this point, 100%. But this whole thing, if we've arrived, we're doing all this, Eli running up to Josh Heupel, we stand on business, and running away, like the stuff like that, it's more like annoying and trolling and just over the top, like almost unnecessarily over the top, which, again, is funny to me. I think it gets noticed and it gets attention, it gets people fired up, but it just makes me laugh how this is the way that it is going to become a rivalry. Okay, that's if that's what you're going to do, then let's see. Let's make it happen.
Take the best player from the state, and
because Arkansas has done that before up in Missouri.
Loud about it.
Yeah, because Arkansas has done that before up in Missouri several times.
With Ronnie Wingo?
Ronnie Wingo was one of them. They also did it with, that offensive lineman from St. Louis. Brian? His name's going to escape me. He's number 60 for Arkansas back in the Bielema days. But either way, I just knew that. He was
we'll come to you later when we're not on.
Right.
Yell it out
he was like a bona fide 4-star offensive lineman. So it's been happening a bit. But then, even going back to the Dorial Green Beckham recruitment, Arkansas.
That's the more, I think, infamous moment, right?
Yes.
Between these two schools in recruiting.
Everyone.
And
when
it
I
was
say
pre-conference rivalry, too, by the way.
Yes, everyone, folks. Everyone. And I'm including the coaching staff for Arkansas, knew that they were getting Dorial Green Beckham. Like that day.
Thought that they were, yes.
Yeah, thought that they were. Yeah. Because I remember Kobe Hamilton tweeting out just WTF when the announcement was made, because he was even like, what? So there's been build-up. There's still been things like that. But, again, they're trying whatever they can to make it be a rivalry. And give them
I think
it
is
credit.
now.
Give him credit. Brian Wallace. Thank you. Brian Wallace was his name.
There we go.
I was going to say Brian Walker, but I knew that wasn't the case. But either way, yeah. So it's getting to that point. But the signing day and the signing class, and seeing the rankings and all of this, I saw fans are pretty down in the dumps in their own mind, and they're like, "This is stupid. I hate this. We suck." All that, like going crazy. I don't know. I look at it as, is it really that different from what Arkansas has done in recruiting for the past 10 years? I mean, on occasion you'll get pretty higher, but it's about where it's at, and you still have portal season going on. You still have the later signing period to happen. Not to say it'll get better, not to say anything like that, but I'm not looking at it as some sort of huge, massive L that Arkansas has taken when there's still a lot of time left. And as I mentioned yesterday, I'm bigger on the transfer portal than I am high school recruiting anyways.
I heard you mention that yesterday, and I think it's also situational, right?
Right.
Where if you're a brand new coach coming in, then setting the tone with the high school class and understanding, hey, we're building something here, right? Where you have you want to lay your foundation with your high school class, and then you want to build your walls and your roof with the transfer portal guys that are going to complete your product. But situationally, for Coach Pittman now in was this going to be 5?
Yeah, year 5.
Going into year 5, the high school, the way the things have changed over the last 4 years in terms of recruiting and how impactful guys can be immediately on your team, you're going to see the impact from JUCO and transfer more than any high school player by the numbers, by volume. I mean, you might get one guy, and mostly skill position guys. Rarely do you get guys on either side of the line be immediate impact guys, unless they're just a complete freak 5-star, which that happens. But mostly Arkansas hasn't had those guys. People on the line have been developmental. Bielema got a couple of top-notch offensive linemen. Dan Skipper.
Yes.
And the player out of South Florida, please help me.
Denver Kirkland.
Denver Kirkland, thank you. Those two guys were immediate guys, a 4-star, and I think Skipper was a 3-star. But
he was a high 3-star.
He was a high, yeah. He was definitely going to be an impact early on just because of his size. Right. Again, size.
Mm-hmm.
But if you miss out on skill guys as freshmen, that's what, like the Crutchfield miss. That's one where you go, if he was a lineman, you go, well, that's kind of more of a developmental. You have to develop them. But when you miss out on a skill guy that could compete immediately, I'm with you. Transfer portal in year 5, they better continue to rate it. Fortunately for them, they can.
Right.
The portal is yesterday, early signing period, whatever. I'm with you. That's stupid.
Yes.
Yes.
Just call it what it is.
Signing period. Okay.
Yeah.
But at this point, I think take that disappointment if you're a Razorback fan and don't channel it towards a high school recruiting class.
Right.
Channel it into focusing on hope that they can continue to build their portal class and continue to beef that up because that's going to be way more impactful next season than any high school recruit coming in.
That's going to help them more than anything. And that's why again, if you ask me, would I rather have Courtney Crutchfield or get the offensive lineman transfer from Tennessee and the linebacker transfer from Georgia? I'm taking those transfers over Courtney Crutchfield. It's nothing against him. I'd rather have both. But I'm taking those two guys.
Sure, he's got a high ceiling. I'm sure he's going to be good. Mm-hmm. It's just more of, hey, for Sam Pittman, what do you need next year? You have to win now.
Yeah, you got to do it.
Year 1 or 2 anymore. You are now at a position where you get the offensive coordinator hire that you wanted and that you think will help you win and that everybody's excited about.
Mm-hmm.
You got to win 7. I think you got to win 7 next year, and very few high school players are going to help you get there as opposed to some guys coming in from the portal.
Exactly right. So I have this question now that we've been talking about it a little bit. Is there a player that comes to mind that came from the state of Arkansas that went elsewhere? Arkansas was going hot and heavy after, highly regarded, highly recruited, went elsewhere, and panned out great in college. And I'm not saying that in a negative way.
Almost
basketball for sure,
yes.
But football-wise, because I'm not saying that it's just they've been trash or they've been terrible and everything, but it's like there's very few players I feel like that have gone on outside the state of Arkansas that were highly regarded, and maybe Courtney Crutchfield can be one of them, but have gone out and just one of those players in college where every Razorback fan kept looking over there at the other school being like, why didn't we get him?
You know, it's a great question for Sully. I want you to save it if he's coming on tomorrow.
He will be.
He is an incredible recall of stuff like this. He would probably go back, and I don't remember what they did at Tennessee, but there was a group of receivers at Warren he told me about back in the early 2000s, back when we were young tykes. And he mentioned how, and I think it was something went sour with Nutt at Arkansas, and that's why they didn't go there.
Mm-hmm.
But they were highly talented. Again, Warren, shocking.
Yeah.
Great talent, great receivers.
Wide receiver you.
I mean, this is not like a Johnny Come Lately. It just started with the Greg Childs and Jerry Wright and Chris Gregg. No, they had another trio before that were incredible.
Yeah.
And I think they went on to play pretty well at Tennessee. You'd have to ask Sully what they ended up doing, but that was – I'm just speaking like in terms of since 2000.
Right, here, yeah,
because
recently.
But he'll probably reference that if you ask him that tomorrow, just because at the time he said it was a big deal that they were going to Tennessee and not going to Arkansas, being from Warren, small town. So that'd be one thing, but I can't.
Yeah, because I know, the reason I'm saying also post-2000 because the first one everyone will bring up, I'm sure, is Keith Jackson.
Obviously, yes.
But just as far as in recent, modern, since 2000, I think is kind of the biggest one.
You know what's funny is basketball's easy.
Oh, yeah, basketball. We could do a power ranking list at 10.
Down a line.
Yeah, not even have to worry about it. But for football, a guy like Michael Dyer, he went to Auburn, was MVP.
That was one, absolutely.
But he fizzled out after that, and
but he helped him win a national championship.
He did. Yeah. But that was kind of like the first one that came to mind. Maybe
that's a good one.
Maybe Lee Zimba, remember him on that Auburn team that won a national championship? He was a starting offensive tackle. He's from Fort Smith Northside.
Okay.
No, he's from Rogers. Excuse me, he went to Rogers. Maybe him. KJ Hill to Ohio State.
Yep, that was one that just got brought up by Big John and Cabot.
Oh,
on
our
Southern
text
Structural Solutions text line.
Yes. So him. We have a bunch of them that are coming in.
And then we had a wideout from Clarendon went to Tennessee.
Okay. Let's say because I remember Cedric Houston going to Tennessee.
Okay.
He was the running back, and I wanted to say he was out of West Memphis. Could be wrong. I know it's some part of the eastern part of Arkansas.
Sully because he'll know. He's Mr. High School. He knows where all these high school kids ended up going.
Yes, we'll have to bring that up to him because I was just fascinated by it because if you're doing the percentages and looking at the trends, I feel like personally there's a lot more players that went on after to go outside of the state of Arkansas that were high recruited that you didn't look at later and say, man, if we would have, that guy, it makes us so jealous. Like if we had just had him, it would have been game-changing. Not calling them bad players.
It just didn't work out.
It just didn't go to the expectation people had.
Well, how about this? They went to Arkansas for a year, but
and then bounced out.
Could you count the Springdale
5?
But I think only 3 of them left or something like that.
Well, only 4 of them showed up. 2 of them left.
Okay.
Because Ben Cleveland and the wide receiver, I forgot his name, Damian Williams went to USC as well as Mitch Mustaine. But there was Andrew Norman was the other guy.
And Damian Williams, for the record, was good at USC. He was good at USC.
He was good. And he played in the NFL for the Titans for a while. So, but other than that, man, there's been some high-quality players that have come out of the state of Arkansas.
Another texter says Cody Burns when he went to Auburn.
Yeah. But he played wide receiver over there at Auburn when he was recruited as a quarterback.
So
that's a different thing.
What about the kid? He did not pan out, Kyle Frazier. Remember, four-star quarterback.
Went to Auburn.
Did
and not go well.
Then transferred back and went to OBU.
That's right.
Had a really good finish to his career down in Arkadelphia.
Yeah, there's a few of them.
Yeah.
There's a few of
them.
them.
But you're right. In terms of just trying to figure out, okay, where did guys go out and start? We got an Alti Tenpenny reference on here as well when he went to Alabama.
That's right.
So there have been some, but you're right. I just don't. I don't remember a lot of them being to that elevation of that 4 or 5-star recruiter, whatever they were, as opposed to basketball where they all seemingly worked out and did great at whatever school they went to.
I think about in basketball, you could say, hey, Malik Monk. You could say Kayvon Allen. You could say Archie Goodwin.
Archie,
a bunch of them that went out there. There's even that Oklahoma State wing player who was from the 07 class. And it's going to drive Jamal. Wasn't Jamal Anderson?
I love your randomness. How you just pulled that one out. That was good.
The point is, basketball, there's been a lot. Football, there's not. So my whole point in saying all of that, at least, is to maybe just provide
calm down
a little bit of calming nature, because who knows? Maybe Courtney Crutchfield goes up to Missouri, and it's not a fit for him, and he transfers back to Arkansas. I mean, not saying he would, but because of the current state of everything, it's possible. Or maybe he goes up there and. Missouri's not for him, and he goes and transfers to somewhere out of the conference, and you never have to see him. I mean, there's a lot of things that could happen.
You got another one. You started something here. You got another one.
What is it?
Gary Bohannon.
Yeah. Because he went to Baylor.
Stayed there for 2 years, and then transferred to South Florida for, I think, his last year.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, D'Angelo Williams is another one that's getting thrown in there, too.
Yeah, that one gets tossed around quite a bit.
But he went to Memphis.
He did, and he's from Wynn, so it was close, and I think he wanted to stay close. I don't know how aggressive Arkansas was. They should have been great on him, or they should have been all over it. But
But I think, wasn't that around the time, was it pre-Darren McFadden, Felix Jones, and all those guys? I think it was.
It was right around there.
Yeah. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think it was more of the Cedric Cobbs, Peyton, right before Peyton Hillis arrived. I could be wrong.
I think he was. I think he was one of the early Landers Award winners.
Right,
I think.
Yes, because him and Cedric Houston, I think, were around the same time. And no offense to those players, but much rather have had Darren McFadden, and Felix Jones was pretty good, too.
They're great.
Yes, I would take some of those guys. So, but either way, lots of stuff with recruiting and everything. We appreciate all the messages. You got the phone calls and the phone lines lighting up, too. Let's start off with Lewis. What's up, Lewis?
Hey, what's up, John? How you doing?
Pretty good, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. Is that Chris Kane in there with you?
Yes, sir.
Hey, how you doing? Merry Christmas to you guys.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Hey, John. I heard part of your speech yesterday, and I agree with a lot of it. But I think one of the reasons that, I'll use myself for example, that we as fans are kind of disappointed is because we were sold with a bill of goods that these guys were great recruiters up here on the hill from Sam Pittman on down. And we're not really seeing the results of that. Yeah, we're seeing the results in the portal, but not really in high school recruitment. And even though the portal is important, and I agree with that, but you still have to have a high school base if you want to really start a culture going. And so I think that's why a lot of us are disappointed. And I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. Auburn. What was Auburn's record this year?
6-6, 5-7, or 6-6. I can't actually. You got to look it up. That's sad, but I think they went 6-6. I think they went to a bowl game.
They were. That's a great question. Hold on. 5th in the SEC West, and they were 6-6.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay. So I mean, they only won 2 more games, but they had the 9th recruiting class. I think that's what I saw on ESPN yesterday. The 9th recruiting class in the nation.
They always do. I mean, they recruit. I mean, it doesn't matter who's there. That's the most incredible part about what they do. They always recruit well.
But they haven't been that high the last few years though. Like when Brian Harsin was there, they weren't that high. I don't think, if I remember right.
Yeah, I mean they had some ups and downs, but for the most part, they've always been pretty consistent in the top 10, top 15 area of recruiting.
So I think I think that's why a lot of us are disappointed is because I know we had a down year this year, but if these guys are good recruiters or top-notch recruiters like we've been told, they still should have been able to get better than what are they, a 28th or 29th ranked class or something?
Yeah, it depends on which outlet you're looking at, but yes, about around there when you start including everything. Yes, 28th according to 24/7 Sports. Yes.
Yeah. So that's why a lot of us are disappointed as fans, is because we were told one thing and we haven't seen the results. And I expected, I'll be honest, with Sam Pittman being there and supposed to be a great recruiter and some of the other ones that we have, I expected us to have, even with a down year this year, no less than 15 to 20.
Right.
That's what I was looking for.
Right.
And I think a lot of fans were looking for that too. I could be wrong, but that's what my feeling is.
Understandable. Well, hey, we appreciate the phone call, Lewis. Have a Merry Christmas, okay?
All right, you guys do the same. Thank you.
All right.
See you, Lewis.
Yeah, really good points there by Lewis. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll continue on with the Trash Talk Thursday here on Out of Bounds. 501-661-1037 is that number to call or text in. Stay with us. A lot more fun, I am sure, is in store next.
Your home for Dallas Cowboys football is 103.7 The Buzz. Presented by Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels. America's team on your fun and game station, 103.7 The Buzz.
This is Sports Center.
Last night in college basketball, Arkansas State fell to Belmont 74-70. Their next game will be next Saturday on the 30th against Georgia State. Nationally, 4th-ranked Arizona took down Alabama and Phoenix 87-74. 21st-ranked Duke beat 10th-ranked Baylor 78-70. And 5th-ranked UConn fell to Seton Hall 75-60. And Arkansas basketball gets back to action tonight as they host Abilene Christian for their second-to-last game of the calendar year. Tip for the game is set for 6. Radio coverage will be on The Buzz starting at 5:30. TV coverage will be on SEC Network. I'm Christian Weaver with The Buzz Radio Network.
Hey, this is Mitch at Red River Ram, Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer, and I've never been so happy as to introduce the Wrap Up the End of the Year sales event. Folks, we've got 20% off 23 brand new Ram heavy duties, never been seen before. That's up to $18,000 off sticker. And you half-ton buyers, we've got 24 model Ram 1500s at $15,000 off. Make that beautiful drive to Heber Springs or check us out online at redriverram.com.
Listen for Champs and Chumps Fridays during the Zone, brought to you by Rowdy Hog Pickleball, the only dedicated pickleball store in the state. Located in the outlets of Little Rock next to H&M. Rowdy Hog Pickleball, your one-stop shop to pickleball success.
If you are looking for a safe and loving home for you or your loved one, visit Heartland Rehabilitation and Care Center. Just 15 minutes from Little Rock and Benton, our skilled nursing staff is dedicated to providing quality long-term care and short-term therapy. Visit heartlandrehabcenter.com. You can call Heartland home.
Where there's Razorback football, there's the First Security Bank 5th quarter postgame show. Join Randy Rainwater, Marcus Elliott, and Trey Shapp after each Razorback game right here on 103.7 The Buzz. Listen in as they interview players and coaches and discuss each week's outcome. Get inside the huddle and the locker room with 103.7 The Buzz, bringing you all the information you want to know. It's the First Security Bank 5th quarter postgame show, brought to you in part by Ortho Arkansas and Rainwater Holton Sexton.
Serious injuries happen every day.
If it happens to you, don't wait. Dial 8.
Dial 8 for Rainwater Holton Sexton. 888-8888.
We can meet you online, at your house, or wherever is easiest for you. Dial 8. 888-8888 for Rainwater Holton Sexton.
Anywhere in the state, dial 8.
We've got you covered, Arkansas. Anywhere in the state, dial 8. Rainwater Holton Sexton. 888-8888.
Responsible attorneys Michael Rainwater and Bob Sexton.
Looking for easy holiday gifts for the adults on your shopping list? You're in luck, and so are they. The Arkansas Scholarship Lottery is a winner wonderland. Scratch-off tickets make great gifts and start at only $1, and players win more than $1 million every day. Share the gift of winning with everyone on your list. Give scratch-offs. They're easy fun with a chance of easy money. Join the Winter Wonderland. Gift, scratch, and win today. Call 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
At the heart of historic downtown Russellville, the Old Bank offers an upscale dining experience. With the freshest ingredients and creative touches, their menu has an item for everyone. From their signature lump crab cake to a classic blue cheese poutine, BLT wedge salad to hand-cut prime steaks. They aim to cater everyone. And that's not all. Upstairs at the Old Bank, you can enjoy live entertainment Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday with trivia, comedy shows, karaoke, live music, and more. Old Bank in downtown Russellville.
Coach Nolan Richardson joins Randy and Rick every Thursday for Rollin' with Nolan, presented by Slim Chickens of Central Arkansas. There are a lot of places to get chicken, but there's only one Slim's. It's Rollin' with Nolan, Thursday at 6 on 103.7 The Buzz.
Unlike other shows, we don't talk over each other with old hee-haw jokes.
This is bull crap. Well, I ain't standing for this. Well, mine as hell. Yeah, they're down. They're down.
So call or text to actually be heard on Out of Bounds at 501-661-1037. You're listening to Out of Bounds with John Nabors and Joe Franklin.
I got to ask, because I've always wondered, why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas? What took you there? It's just so weird. It's
visiting friends,
okay.
But yeah, Dixon Street.
Dixon Street?
Yeah, Dixon Street was, it'll get you.
On 103.7 The Buzz.
Trying to do the Christmas music, too,
I can tell.
along with
I
it.
like it.
You know, we have a lot of Christmas music in here, but you can tell the generations of music that we have and, you know, what would be good comeback music for this radio show, maybe different for other radio shows.
What?
Comeback
You're
music
saying
would
they
be.
wouldn't play this on the morning show?
There's a lot of Glenn Campbell, which I love Glenn Campbell, but there's a lot of Glenn Campbell Christmas in there. I started playing a few of them. I was like, it's pretty slow moving and developing, you know? It's about the energy.
Sometimes you need to chill.
You do.
Yeah.
You do, but I don't
you
know.
You were just telling everybody, hey, you need to chill. You need to chill about high school recruiting rankings.
Yeah.
It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Don't know if that's
Raid the portal. The portal rankings are where it matters for this program right now.
Yeah, but that's not as fun when you have people chill. I say to people for chill, but they're not going to. So just keep getting them riled up, keep getting the energy going. Like that's what it's about. But yeah, I've been talking a lot of recruiting and signing day, and you know, people having their own thoughts and opinions on it and where it's all going. But again, I'm over it. Like, just went on the field. Why don't you do that? Just went on the field. Who knows? Arkansas may have a good portal in the spring. Maybe have some new additions. Something like that happens. I don't know, but it's going to be this way, folks, until they get back on the field and actually start winning.
As Lewis was pointing out on that previous phone call, though, he said he was just disappointed the fact that, you know, you get a coach like Sam Pittman that is touted as a great recruiter, and some things just don't seem to change in terms of that. But then other people pointed out on our Structural Solutions text line how a lot of recruiting rankings also have to do with number of players.
Yes.
And so don't be misled by the fact that Arkansas signing 16 doesn't affect or would affect their rankings. So don't be thinking that that's it. It's not. They're not able to increase their ranking. They are able to increase that ranking.
Because right now, Arkansas has 77 players slotted for scholarships. And you know you can have 85. So you're talking about 8 players that they're still going to be added. And that also could include players that still transfer out. So that's never a fluctuating thing. But we'll have some audio to play from Sam Pittman. But he essentially broke it down as they're really trying to get more linebackers, going to get some cornerbacks. Looking at getting another running back out of the portal, trying to do it that way. Obviously offensive line, interior offensive line is what he was specific about, which makes me wonder, does that mean they're good with the tackles? Does that mean they feel good about the tackles?
Well, what did they get in, though? You know, in terms of, they got one interior offensive lineman, right? From Tennessee.
That's right. And I believe...
And they got a tackle from Michigan State.
That's right, yeah, him.
Yeah.
And then the guy from San Jose State I also believe is a tackle.
Okay. So it makes sense to want to maybe beef up the inside a little bit more.
So the point is that they at least feel good enough to where they don't feel like they have to go get another one.
Right.
So, but they still got a lot of work to do. So, again, that's another deal. Who cares? Like, no, if Arkansas goes out and wins 8 games next year, I'm not saying they will, but if they win 8 games next year, everyone's not going to go back and be like, yeah, but that recruiting class in December.
I think 7 is the benchmark.
I do too.
Think 7 is the mark to hit. They hit that.
To make people feel good.
Yes.
To make people feel good.
Yes.
And with the schedule, that's what they got to do. Let's go to the phone lines again. Joe is in the Rock. What's up, Joe?
Hey, John. Hey, Chris. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Joe.
Hey, speaking of recruiting, and I'm kind of an old soul Razorback fan. You know, I'm old school, but with that said, Crutchfield, I know someone in Pine Bluff that knows his mother very well, and he may be coming back around in a year or two to Arkansas. Okay, we know it's not a level playing field on the NIL. You talked about this. I've read it on the boards. Missouri has a state law they passed in the legislature that when they sign, they get their NIL money starts right then. Arkansas doesn't have that yet. We need it. So in other words, let's say Courtney signed yesterday with Arkansas, and he wanted to enjoy his senior year at Pine Bluff and go to his prom. He couldn't and didn't go enroll until June. He would miss out on 7 months. Let's say he got paid $10,000 a month. That's $70,000. That's why Missouri and Ole Miss, I believe, I think Mississippi has passed that. So we got to get on board, and it's got to start in our legislature. What do you guys think about that? And the last thing, Austin Ledbetter.
Yeah.
You know, I believe, you know, he won 3 state championships, but, you know, Buck James had a machine down there. And I know one of the ex-assistant coaches that was there with him, junior high up and high school, and on those championships. And I'm trying to call him, but I believe he is a lot like an Austin Allen. He threw completions, touchdowns, and very few interceptions. And he averaged 5 or 6 yards a rush. So the guy's a pretty good athlete. He's not the biggest guy, 6'1", 190, 195, but I think he's real smart. I think we have a competition at quarterback in the spring, and I'm all for competition up on the hill.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I've got, guys. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Joe.
Oh, depth, absolutely. And just at this point, it's open. It's an open competition. You know, Jacoby Criswell came in last year a couple times, showed that he's got pretty good athleticism. We know he has a cannon for an arm, which is great.
Right.
Getting a transfer in from Boise State with a ton of athleticism and a ton of potential.
Dalen Green.
But no one, in my mind, is, oh, yeah, that's your clear-cut number one guy. And I wouldn't even say there's a clear-cut number two. Or to me, at this point, if he goes in, and he being Austin Ledbetter, and shows any kind of promise and potential, they'll give him a chance. At this, Petrino does not care where you're from,
who you are,
what your NIL is, what your scholarship status is. He's going to pick the best one for his offense, no matter what. So if Austin's that guy, then so be it.
Well, also,
that's great.
With the quarterback room, you mentioned Taylor Green, Jacoby Criswell. Then you have Malachi Singleton, who's going to be a redshirt freshman. You have KJ Jackson, another 4-star quarterback who signed in this class. And then you have Ledbetter. So most times you're going to have 5 quarterbacks no matter what. But, yeah, Ledbetter and him deciding this, I think it's twofold. This is just me going out on a limb. I think it's twofold to where it's also, I don't think he was going to be part of the rotation this year for baseball, just to be honest. Like I think that it was a deal where they recruited so well, they got so many dudes, and I think that it was a deal where, hey, you're probably not going to be a part of it. And by him doing that and saying, hey, but maybe there was a deal with like Van Horn going to Pittman or something like that, where it's like, hey, you know, we still want you to be on scholarship. You know, we still want you to be part of Arkansas and everything. Like Sam Pittman and Petrino just wouldn't take any player for the sake of taking them. Like there has to be some value. Now, even if the value is not in real games, the value is in, you know, scout team or in practice or whatever. They're not going to take a player for the sake of taking a player unless they, at least I would hope not, there's some value. So there's value in what Austin Ledbetter is going to be doing for Arkansas in football.
Well, apparently he's been working out with football players and doing, you know, doing football activities even in his off time while he's been on the baseball team.
That's
so
right.
He's not been completely out of football shape or football status or stamina.
Yeah, I'm fine with always giving them chances, and again, trusting Petrino, trusting them that
you have
there's
to,
reasons.
right? That's why you bring him back.
That's right.
It sort of reminds me of Connor Nolan, but like the reverse, where like he was almost forced into baseball and off of the football team because the quarterback room was a wreck, and they were bringing in new guys every day, so he wasn't going to be competing.
I think it worked out for Connor to go to baseball. I think it was a better suited situation. Yeah,
escape the ninth circle of hell.
Man,
yes,
whatever it took. Jimbo is on the line. What's up, Jimbo?
I don't know it. What about the tragic story of Alcy Tenpenny?
Yeah, that was one that was mentioned on our
Southern Structure Solutions text.
Oh, he was?
Yeah, he was one of the ones, yeah.
That was a crazy situation. I watched him all through high school. He was amazing, and apparently had a lot of problems when he got off college. And, the article said that he tried to kill himself down at Nickel State, and then, of course, he had the car wreck. But just a sad story. But let me just for a minute join in on the discussion of us getting players. I mean, it's basically come down to letting people go to college for a year and let them get better and then basically buy them from a team. I hate what's going on right now, but that's really the only way that you can build up a team. You wait for a kid to get to college, you let him see if he's going to do good, then you go in and offer him a bunch of money and a bunch of NIL deal and get him to your school. That's kind of the way it's being played now. It's pro football without the draft.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the way I see it. That's the way I think the only way we're going to be successful until they change the rules.
Yeah, no, we agree, and appreciate you calling in, Jimbo. I think that the current state of what it is in college football, it's not changing, so you got to embrace it. And I have no problems with, say, at Arkansas, them having players to where if someone enters in the portal that's a really great player, another school, going and getting them. But there's always going to be the reverse of that. Like Chris Paul, I think is a great example. He wasn't a guy that they were just like, I'm moving on from, or he wasn't that good, or they got someone better. That was a player they probably would have liked to have kept. But Lane Kiffin posting pictures that he's in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and it happens to be coincidental that Chris Paul is there, and he have a visit, and he goes to Ole Miss. It's like, you can hate it when they leave, but you got to understand it's the same way when you are one of the beneficiaries of that same transaction. You can't have it both ways. You can't hate that, I hate the way that the transfer portal is working and, going out and taking some players from us or what, but because Arkansas is doing the same thing too. So you can't have it both ways.
Is Arkansas taking any starters, like, on top of your head? I'm trying to think of some that,
like this year?
Like this year.
From the transfer portal itself, it's, right off the top of my head, I don't know of any
maybe from Power 5
starters
too.
Yeah.
That when you compare like Lane Kiffin coming to poach Paul, that's a comparison I'm trying to figure out, or liken it to. Okay,
Right.
Is there something like that where Arkansas has done the same thing to another? The only thing I could think of is in basketball when they took Brazil,
right?
But I'm thinking football-wise.
Football-wise, though, it's like they, when they took Drew Sanders.
That's what Drew was,
They did, but he wanted to move positions, and Alabama wouldn't let him.
That's it.
Or else he would have been a starter there.
Yes.
So I think Dwight McLaughlin was a starter at LSU.
Yep.
Latavius Brini was a starter for the entire season at Georgia. He struggled at times over there, but he still started every single game. So they had him. I want to say Jaden Hazelwood was a starter at Oklahoma, wide receiver. Matt Landers, I know, was Toledo, but he was a starter there.
Yeah.
So they've had some that have been bona fide starters that they went out and kind of got and they came in. But a lot of times it's maybe because you're not getting the starters from another major school to come to your school is going to be pretty few and far between. You know what I'm saying? Like, because they're happy where they're at in most cases because they are the starter. And in a lot of cases,
you would think.
Yes, exactly. But in some cases, though, I think kind of like the deal with KJ Jefferson. It's not necessarily about, he just got a bigger bag somewhere else and moved on. I think in some cases also the school that he's at just like, you know what, it might be best for you to move on and, we'll save a little NIL money and go and spend it elsewhere where we can find somebody that we feel more comfortable with.
But here's what's interesting, though, about that is it seems like one position above others, we saw an overwhelming amount of not just starters but stars hit the portal, and it was quarterback.
Yeah.
This past cycle.
That's right. Starters, too.
Starters who were stars at their school. Where the school, take Arkansas out of it, I'm saying other schools, where the school was probably not trying to usher them out.
Right.
But where they said, oh, yeah, what did Matt Rule say? Good quarterbacks get $1.5 to $2 million in the portal? Count me in.
Going there.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I think that's a big part of it. I just wish it's never going to happen. The transparency, I'm always a big fan of. And
there's not going to be any right now.
And there's never going to be anything about it. So that's what makes this part suck. But it makes it great for discussion. It makes it great to talk about. But it sucks because everyone's going to be sold on whatever they want to believe. and there's not going to be any evidence otherwise to try and change their mind, even if they're completely and totally wrong.
And that is the entire mindset and mantra of our beloved college football,
Yep.
right? Whether you want to be a national champion or not, doesn't matter.
Nope.
If I want to be, I'm going to be.
And I'm going to do whatever I need.
Crown myself that today.
That's right.
Yes.
And it's what is it like the whose line is it anyway? It's like where the points don't matter and there's no rules, just whatever. It's just
College football.
It's college football.
Yeah.
I should say it's off-season college football because actual college football, yes, they do keep score and they do have rules, but in off-season college football, no. It's just a crapshoot.
Chris, by the way, you were asking about like a starter earlier that came to us that was sort of a made man already, right? Rakeem Boyd. That was like who I thought of, Rakeem Boyd. He started. He was a star coming out of Last Chance U. Probably the biggest player we've had just name-wise coming out of like NIL era stuff.
Well, I mean, that was pre-NIL even then, but
Oh, was it?
but Rakeem Boyd, and that's a name I haven't thought about in a long time.
That wasn't that far back.
A very long time.
Got to move on from that one. Either way, we're going to continue on. Oh, well, yeah, and also Jaheim Thomas, the linebacker for Arkansas now, came from Cincinnati. He was a starter, so that's another good one. We got more to talk about. We got what's trending in the world of sports coming up next here on Out of Bounds, so stay with us.
It's finally that magical time of year. The year-end closeout at Courtney Chevrolet. If a brand new SUV is on your Christmas list, now's the time to buy. Get up to $3,500 off a 2024 Chevy Equinox when you buy before December 31st. SUVs not your style? No problem. If you wish you could see a pickup truck under your tree, we have you covered. Get up to $10,000 off a 2024 Chevrolet Silverado this month only. Plus, buy at Courtney Chevrolet this month and you'll make 0 payments for 4 months. That's right, you get to keep those savings for all your holiday shopping. If you want a fantastic deal on a new SUV or truck, you don't want to miss the year-end closeout at Courtney Chevrolet, Arkansas's #1 Chevy dealer. Come see us at 1301 TP White Drive in Jacksonville or visit GuatneyChevrolet.com to learn more. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
Willie D's Rock and Roll Piano Bar open every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Cold drinks and dueling pianos. Deep Nightclub downstairs hosts karaoke on Tuesdays and DJs spin on Friday and Saturday nights. Visit WillieD'sPianoBar.com.
Did you know Arch Marine is the kayak leader in Central Arkansas? Right now, get 20% off all feel-free kayaks. All the prices are falling on kayaks this month. Don't forget, we repair ATVs. Your granddaddy trusted Arch Marine, and so can you.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. Not only is it open enrollment for a lot of people, it's also a time you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. For many families, switching to MediShare saves about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people. And what's more, they like it. MediShare has double the member satisfaction rate compared to health insurance. Double. MediShare is a proven thing, too, for over 30 years. It's a Christian community of more than 400,000 members. And here's the thing. If you join before December 30th and you mention the promo code SHARE, you'll get another 10% off all of 2024. That's 12 months of savings. So I'll give you the number here in a second, but call. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline is December 30th. So call now. You'll save even more. Here's the number, 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE, 855-51-BIBLE.
For 100 years, Arkansas State Parks have offered endless outdoor adventures and treasured places to connect with nature, family, and friends. Whatever kind of outdoor fun you're into, you can find it at 52 parks around the state. Enjoy world-class mountain biking trails, scenic hikes, year-round fishing on sparkling lakes, and much more. It's time to get outside and celebrate a century. Find your next adventure today at ArkansasStateParks.com. Brought to you by this station and the Arkansas Broadcasters Association.
The leaves are falling and the holidays are calling. Justin Acre and Laura Beth from Kaufman by Design West. And if you're looking for holiday ideas for yourself to get ready or for someone else, Kaufman by Design West is the perfect spot.
We have big green egg products and accessories that are perfect if you're wanting to smoke a ham or a turkey for the holidays. And then we also have gifts, big and small, picture frames, throw blankets and pillows, small home decor pieces, and steel products as well.
And if you're not sure what to get, there's always an option for gift cards at Kaufman by Design West, 14900 Cantrell Road in Little Rock, or online at kaufmanlumber.com.
Hi, I'm Rick Pennington of Lions Drug. We have great news. Generic Cialis is now available at a huge savings. We have Tadalafil, the FDA-approved generic of Cialis, in a 20-milligram tablet at a savings of up to 80%. We have the 5-milligram daily tablets for less than $3 a pill. Lions Drug continues to be your go-to pharmacy for men's health. What are you waiting for? Call us today at 844-676-2247 or go to our website at lionsdrug.com.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports betting app. Bet Saracen is as close as your cell phone. Just go to the App Store and download Bet Saracen or go to betsaracen.com. NFL, college football, NBA, they're all in full swing. Also college basketball, boxing, MMA, soccer, hockey, any sport, any line, anytime. You can find it all at Bet Saracen. If you want to follow the odds, favorites, and underdogs, Bet Saracen is where you want to be. Prop bets, futures, today's events, upcoming games, in-game, whatever your sports betting needs are, Bet Saracen has you covered. Vegas odds are one thing, but you have to be there to legally bet those odds. Arkansas law prevents big national apps from operating in our state. For the most accurate and up-to-date sports wagering info, you need to be on the Bet Saracen app. It's simple. Just go to the App Store and download Bet Saracen or go to betsaracen.com. Be sure to check out the video of how to play featuring Jancy Sheets.
It's not just about the size of the meat, it's about where you get it from. So get it from Hoggs Meat Market in North Little Rock. Hoggs Meat Market, the steak people. You're listening to Out of Bounds with John Nabors and Joe Franklin.
Arkansas right up on the football. 2nd down and 6. DeBinion stays in at running back, but KJ's going to throw. Fade down the right sideline. Broden's in the back of the end zone. He caught the ball. Well, he didn't catch it, but they throw a flag.
After further review, the result of the play is a touchdown.
Yeah. Touchdown, Arkansas.
On 103.7 The Buzz.
It is Out of Bounds here on Trash Talk Thursday. John Nabors, Chris Kane, got Ethan in the Hoggs Meat Market Studios with you today, just a few days away from Christmas itself. Feels good. Feels really good. And I know people are going to be traveling here. And we were talking about this. We're going to be at Twin Peaks tomorrow doing a live show. We have Monday and Tuesday off here at the Buzz and Signal Media. I started asking people around here, if you had your choice, though, would you rather have, if you're going to get 2 days anyways, Friday and Monday off, or the Monday and Tuesday off? And I'm going to take whatever I can get, and I'm never going to complain.
It's all the same.
But to me, I don't know. Having 2 shorter work weeks, though, instead of having just one really or much shorter, I don't know. I kind of like having the 4-day weeks.
Oh, I'm a fan of the 4-day weeks.
Mm-hmm.
They've implemented that in some other countries in terms of just like their overall work structure is 4-day weeks.
Yes.
Big fan of that. That sounds wonderful.
Need to do more of those,
I
too.
agree.
Yeah. Maybe one day when we run the world, we can change the world.
One of these days.
Inspiration can be the greatest way to do it. By the way, on our Southern Structural Solutions text line, 479 says, are you guys NIL Edge members?
Are you? It feels like it's right up your alley.
I am not.
You're not?
I protest it.
Protest it?
I protest it.
What are you protesting?
Because I don't
this is
like...
up your... You are an alum.
I am.
You carry the torch for the university on statewide radio.
Listen, I'm the fanboy.
You
of the
are
whole...
#fanboy.
#fanboy.
You have to embrace
it.
it. What do you protest on the edge?
I don't like.
Can you tell me why?
Yes.
And can you tell the statewide?
Okay,
go.
I've said
All
it before.
right, go for it. Tell
it's
me.
because of the company that they hired to run NIL Edge. I do not like the fact that company takes a 15% cut.
So what are other comps in terms of how these work? What are some other? What are the other percentages you've seen for other universities that pair with NIL
they pair
companies.
If they pair with companies, it's probably the same thing.
Okay,
but to me, the university themselves should be the one that
you mean the foundation
put down. Yes, whoever. They need to have their
university
own,
can't,
right?
So
they need to have their own entity and their own collective where they run it, and every dollar that gets donated to the collective goes to the student athletes. That's my thing. So that's why I've always encouraged people, anyone out there, and it's kind of what we do here on the Buzz with our NIL athletes. I'm not going to the collective. I'm going straight to the athlete, and then go to the athlete and we talk to them or the representation and everything. And that's what we said, because that way we know that every dollar that we send to them is theirs.
How would the people who are facilitating all these NIL deals get compensated for facilitating them?
They shouldn't. You should have the place that has been hired and put together by the foundation or whoever. They get paid through the foundation.
Okay.
Their full-time jobs is that. That's how they get compensated.
Okay.
That's my point.
Okay.
So I just don't like some third-party company in Las Vegas getting 15% of the money that
And do they
Arkansas
do this for
fans
other
are donating.
universities? Do the same company like this
Yeah,
do this for
they
other
do it for
universities? Okay.
Tennessee. They do it for Penn State. They do it for trying to think of the other schools. There's quite a few of them that they're partnered with.
Yeah.
But that was my only
But they know how to.
issue.
So clearly, this is their. This is what they do.
Yeah. And if it's good, and if it works out to where you get a bunch of players, and Arkansas's really up their game and everything, then I'm fine with it. Yeah, I'm great. I just don't. I didn't like the idea of that fact. I'm like, you should be able to just have your own little thing where like you're going to be ran by Razorback fans who love Arkansas, want to see them succeed, not some third-party company that's kind of just like, we'll hire some people maybe from Arkansas, but we still get our chunk of change.
Well, they're not going to do it for free.
Yeah. Well, then that's why I go
So
back
you
to just
be
paying them full time.
You just want a lower percentage.
Yes, I just don't like.
Would 10% make you happy?
No.
5%?
It's like taxes.
You're like, no,
it's like taxes. If I'm paying it, I would like to know it's going towards something good and not some money bags over there in Vegas, so you can go to the craps tables a
They're
couple more times.
trying to get you the best players.
I hope it works out. Then we got more Out of Bounds coming up
Across
next.
town for a meeting, hit the gym during lunch. Jake has soccer tonight, and Emily has gymnastics. Oh, did I turn on the crock pot this morning?
With a never-ending to-do list, it's easy to forget something important, like setting up a life insurance plan with Shelter Insurance. Your local Shelter agent can show you how to create a safety net for your family. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
See Shelter agent Dan Cook in North Little Rock, Becky Bradley in Sherwood, or Angie Collins in Heber Springs today.
103.7 The Buzz is your home for Arkansas Razorback basketball. Coverage is brought to you by Crane Hyundai of Conway, Blackman Auctions, Bell Chevrolet, and Arkansas Scholarship Lottery.
Heartland Rehabilitation and Care Center in Benton proudly offers compassionate and loving care to our veterans, meeting the unique needs of every veteran who calls Heartland home. Visit heartlandrehabcenter.com.
Listen for Champs and Chumps Fridays during the Zone, brought to you by Rowdy Hog Pickleball, the only dedicated pickleball store in the state. Located in the outlets of Little Rock next to H&M, Rowdy Hog Pickleball, your one-stop shop to pickleball success.
Sports talk and entertainment.
I can't understand your food in your mouth.
That'll put a smile on your face.
I'm being serious. I can't understand a word you're saying.
KABZ Little Rock. Buzz News.
5 Jefferson County deputies were taken to the hospital after what officials say they were exposed to an unknown substance. This all happened at the W.C. Dub Brassel Adult Detention Center. According to officials, 5 deputies were conducting a search of a cell when they were exposed to an unknown substance. After the search, 2 deputies became unconscious. Another complained about chest pains, and a 4th complained of a headache and noticed a rash on their face. The 5 were taken to Jefferson Regional Medical Center. If you're making plans to include alcohol in your holiday celebrations, you might consider buying it sooner rather than later. Arkansas has certain laws that prevent you from buying on certain holidays, even if it falls on a weekday. Scott Harden with the Arkansas Department of Finance and Administration says no one in the state is allowed to buy or sell alcohol on Christmas. From the Channel 7 Newsroom, I'm Ashley Lenningham.
Coach Matt Zimmerman joins Randy and Rick on Drive Time Sports each week to talk all things college hoops, courtesy of the DHR Group of Sonic Drive-Ins.
Weather from the Fletcher Weather Center with Channel 7's Melinda Mayo.
Mostly cloudy today, but still dry and mild with a high around 58. Tonight's low just down to 43. Scattered light rainfall for Friday and Saturday, but much better rain chances for Sunday, Christmas Eve. From the Channel 7 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Melinda Mayo.
Today's special at the Riverfront Steakhouse in the Wyndham Hotel. Dinner for two for $60. Split a 10-ounce filet, fried shrimp, and our famous salad bar.
Want to know about bass tournaments and some of the best fishing spots in the state? Well, listen to Fishing Arkansas Sunday mornings with Big Sarge and his crew. Fishing Arkansas is presented by Axles Plus, Arkansas River Valley Roofing and Restoration, Globe Life Everett and Associates, and Dr. Brad White at Cersei Dermatology. It's Fishing Arkansas Sunday mornings on 103.7 The Buzz.
This is Pat Bradley for River City Flooring, where you can pick your payment. Get 0% interest for 12, 24, or 36 months, and River City Flooring in Maumelle is where you'll save 50% on all in-stock waterproof LVP flooring. And did you know River City Flooring carries cabinets? So stop in and let my friends at River City Flooring help you with your remodel. Kitchen, bath, living, dining, they do it all. Check out River City Flooring in Maumelle at their huge new showroom on Maumelle Boulevard just off 430.
It's football time in Arkansas. Step up to the line of scrimmage each Tuesday during Drive Time Sports for Scoop and Score with me, Kevin Bohannon. I'll give you the latest news and information about anything football from high school to college in the natural state. Special thanks to the Wood family of dealerships in Batesville for making this all happen.
For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. If you choose to drink and drive, here are the consequences. You will go to jail because you've committed a crime. You will be restricted to driving with an ignition interlock. Your actions can cost you thousands of dollars. You could kill or injure yourself or others. Think about the consequences. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by the Arkansas State Police Highway Safety Office.
Do you need rainwater Holt in Sexton? Anywhere in the state, dial 888-8888. It really is just that easy. If you've been injured and need help, it doesn't matter where in Arkansas you are. Just dial 888-8888. We'll come to you. I'm Mike Rainwater of Rainwater Holt in Sexton. We have been thankfully serving Arkansans for years, and we appreciate the trust you've put in us. We work hard for you, Arkansas, each and every day. Anywhere in the state, dial 8.
Join Drive Time Sports each weekday for the Trey Biddy Report, brought to you by Asher Wrecker and Recovery. Find out the latest on the Razorback recruits and all the D1 prospects in the state each weekday. It's the Trey Biddy Report on Drive Time Sports, presented by Asher Wrecker and Recovery.
And ESPN Radio Extra Point with Joe Fortenbaugh.
If you're the Dolphins and you're trying to work your way through this late end of season scenario, you can't have firm grasp of the division and blow it late and then go in as a wild card. You can't. You can't fall apart like this. And if you're calculating things, the road game against the Ravens is the least likely of your three victories that are coming up. I don't think you can sit back thinking you're going to go to Baltimore and win that game. So you've got to be thinking this Cowboy game is everything. Because if you lose to the Cowboys and then you go out and you lose to the Ravens, you're just going to be stumbling all over yourselves against a Bills team that, in my mind, is absolutely going to take care of the Chargers and the Patriots in back-to-back weeks. That's what is so fascinating about the situation Miami finds itself in. It's almost as if the whole season has set itself up for them to shut everybody up late in the year and then make the run. But you're right. If Hill isn't out there, I don't trust Tua to navigate it. So that's that.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-687-5192. That's 800-687-5192. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-687-5192. Live from the Hoggs Meat Market Studios, this is Out of Bounds.
still think on the defensive side, out of the portal, I think you'd need a corner, a linebacker. Obviously, I think you would need an edge and an interior. So there's 4. On the offensive side of the ball, I think we need another interior offensive lineman. I think we're fine at tight end. I think we're fine at quarterback. I think we need a running back out of the portal and a wide receiver. So I think that's probably pretty close to 8 right there.
With John Nabors.
Every time you put a mic in my face, I'm going to say Arkansas.
And Joe Franklin.
We won't go in the shell. We won't go in attack mode because that's what's required.
On 103.7 The Buzz.
One hour down, 2 hours to go. Appreciate everybody listening in on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. John Nabors, Chris Kane. Got Ethan back on the 1s and 2s as we broadcast live from the Hoggs Meat Market Studios with you today. And thank you as always for making us a part of your afternoon. This afternoon, as we have talked hot and heavy about recruiting, transfer portal, NIL, signing day, all that fun stuff. And as I joked with Dudley Dawson yesterday, I'm still waiting on a coach in college football to come out and say, you know what, we didn't get all the guys we wanted. We didn't address the needs. We were hoping for this guy, but we had to settle on this player. He's not as good, but you're never going to get that because every coach is going to be like, we got who we wanted. This is the class that wanted to be Hogs. I love that. At least it's consistent there, too.
This is one of those times where I kind of wish Sam's overt honesty came into play where he
would be good.
Yeah, I know. I'd love to hear his thoughts on real thoughts on some of the guys we know they were really honing in on and close on and missed out on.
I like Sam, but yeah, he needs to flip his honesty. Like, don't be honest when you shouldn't be, but
That's
be
right.
honest when we want you to be.
Yeah, don't leave the I don't knows out.
Yes.
And give me the what you know about whatever went down with the certain player. And
right.
I know there's some stipulations about what he can and can't say once a player signs somewhere else.
Of
too,
course,
so.
of course. I've always wanted it to where, if there's a late addition, like at the last minute, and, like the player yesterday for the wide receiver, don't come out and say,
somebody.
just don't come out and say, like, oh, we've been on him for a while. Like, no, you haven't. It was, you missed out on a guy, and you're like, hey, let's go with this one because he's at the same position, and we know we can get him, and there's some potential there. Let's do that. That's what it was about. That's why you did it. Just be honest about it, too. But, yeah, a lot of people have been chiming in on our Southern Structural Solutions text line as well as our Gangster Museum of America live fan feedback. We'll get to those. We'll see if Stat is not from Conway on the line anymore. So, but, yeah, if you want to end the conversation, folks, 501-661-1037 is the number to call in or text in. Did want to play this clip real quick since we've been talking about recruiting and everything. Sam Pittman did recap his signing day, speaking of which, and how he felt about the class overall.
Overall, I thought this was an outstanding day for the Hogs, and more importantly, we're headed in the right direction at quarterback, and I'm talking about both of them. And we're headed in the right direction on the O-line. I'm talking about high school and transfers, and we're not done yet. But those were two big key areas that we wanted to try to address in recruiting, and we did. We obviously know we have the 3rd through the 7th period there that we've got some work to do. I think we have about 8 scholarships left. We've got to be right because I think we only have 10 visits left, so we're close to maxed out there. But we have that, and then obviously you've got your second signing period. It opens back up in April. With that, I'm really excited, guys, about what went on. I'm proud of our coaches for what they did.
So exciting, and it's a great day, and you shouldn't be complaining or
Sound
worried.
like some pep in his step.
Yeah.
And recruiting can be exhausting, so.
It can be. I've never felt any sort of way about a coach in lacking of energy after signing day because I don't think that's a – they could go through an entire game, an entire week of practice, but I don't think it's as exhausting mentally and physically. That's probably what recruiting and signing day is. Like last-minute deals, last-minute things.
Yeah, the stress you have.
Stressing because until you see that, national letter of intent come through the –
waiting on the fax.
Yeah. Do they still fax it? Does that still happen?
I don't know if that's still a thing.
Surely they just email it that, right? But then how do you know if it's real? I don't know. That's interesting. Yeah, how does that work? How do you get to make an official?
Let me text Coach Brown at UCLA.
Yeah, let us know. Because if they're still using fax machines, I'd love to know. Are Kinko's still around? Like they just go over there and have to fax it in? And what does it all say? Is it very professional looking, or is it just something like I'm coming to Arkansas, and here's my signature. Like, there's a lot of questions that I have as far as the.
All right, just throw a text to Coach Brown at UCA. We'll see what he says.
All right, yeah. Let us know. Give us the idea there.
I just said, do players still fax their letter of intent?
Yes.
Very important information.
Well, we can't go without it.
I agree.
Can't go without it.
Yeah, we need to know if we're moving forwards or backwards in the technology time continuum.
Yeah, which with football, it's still got some things that are going to be going on. As Sam Pittman mentioned, they're going to still add some players. Still got the February signing period. You got a lot going on, so don't think that now it's final. This is the team you got.
Right.
There's still a lot of stuff that's going to happen, and who knows? Sometimes in those spring transfer portal windows, you can get some pretty good players. Arkansas has before in that spring window. It's happened. So it could be – I'm just trying to look at a glass half full for those of you who are upset. Just let's see. You never know. It could be okay.
The epitome of a Razorback fan. Got to look at it. You got to look at it with some optimism sometimes.
I'm not going to lie.
Or all the time.
I feel like Pittman could come out with a wheelbarrow full of cow crap and throw it all over the table, and it's still more truthful and honest in what he actually means than Chad Morris in the last, 2 or 3 months.
Oh, yeah,
I remember watching all those press conferences with Chad, and it was so hard to watch. Actually, hard to watch.
Well, he had to have notes of saying what he needed to say. Say, hey, thank the fans. All right, thank the fans. Got to say that. Yeah, well, I don't care about press conferences. I care about winning. Bobby Trino was the worst press conference there ever was, but he won, so no one cared. So Brett Bielema was great at press conferences, but he didn't win enough, and people got tired of it.
He just won a little, not a lot.
Yeah, just
not enough.
Not enough.
Yeah.
Not enough. His best year if your best year is 7-5 in a 5-year span, because if Sam Pittman doesn't get it done this year, and it's going to kind of be the same thing. Like looking back on it, there's a lot of similarity between the Bielema and the Pittman era as far as that 5-year span goes.
Definitely. It's funny too. You think that the worst time being a Razorback fan was that 1 year with John L. Smith. Until you had 2 years of Chad Morris.
You thought.
You thought it couldn't get worse than the state of Alabama?
Dude.
And then it did.
I see, and I never thought that there would be a worse loss in my life.
Than ULM?
No, than when Arkansas lost to Vanderbilt at home. When Jay Cutler came to town. I honestly thought that was the worst loss I've ever experienced in my life.
Was that when Peyton Hillis got stuffed on the goal line like 4 times in a row?
Yes.
Is that the one?
Yes. Yeah. That was the year that I think it's the year after Matt Jones. Yeah, it was the year after Matt Jones. Jay Cutler was a senior at Vanderbilt. It's early in the season. Arkansas's quarterback was Robert Johnson. Darren McFadden, Felix Jones were freshmen.
Yeah.
Darius Howard was kind of the main running back there.
Howard, yes, that's right.
So, but yeah,
and he was the first Landers Award winner, by the way, 2000.
Darius Howard, okay.
Yeah, D'Angelo Williams never won the Landers Award. I just looked it up.
Okay.
So just going back to our first hour. But yeah, Darius Howard, great callback.
Yes. Yeah, he was really good.
Out of West Memphis.
But they were very young. But again, I thought that was the worst loss until the past 10 years. And I can count now on both hands and maybe have to use some toes of worse loss.
No, it's a summertime conversation, but now that you brought it up, I have to ask.
It's Christmas time, so we can do it too.
If you had to put one above the rest, one. And
loss?
The Citadel is coreless here. The Citadel is for all those listening who are saying the Citadel coreless that. If you're going to put one up there,
just in football.
Okay. Where do you said you got 10 to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
So
there's a lot.
You do have a lot. You do have a lot.
Honestly, man, because when Arkansas lost to Western Kentucky, in a way, everyone was kind of hoping.
Oh, I don't think that was bad because it ripped the Band-Aid off an open wound.
Yes, I think that game, even though statistically or whatever, maybe a worse loss.
I know people who were actively rooting for Ty Story to light up their own alma mater just to get rid of Chad Morris.
Yeah, it was that level bad.
And of all people to do it, I mean, it was cinematic.
Mm-hmm.
It was.
Perfect.
Wait, I'm sorry. Who's doing this?
Mm-hmm. The guy you didn't want.
The guy he didn't want. The guy who's from Arkansas, just down the road, and said, "No, we don't want him. He's not any good." And he came back and torched you. Perfection.
It was poetic.
It was
absolutely poetic.
It was definitely like out of a movie script. Okay, so I'm not gonna say that one. That's not that bad.
No, so you got to put again about the perspective of it. ULM was pretty bad. Even with the John L. Smith year, ULM was pretty bad because at worst, you're first off, you're coming off a 21-5 in past 2 seasons. Yes, you don't have Bobby Petrino, but you look at it, you're like, okay, but regardless, there's still stupid talent on this team. You got Tyler Wilson. You got Kobe Hamilton.
But he got concussed. Remember, Wilson got concussed. And
he
Brandon
did.
came in.
He did.
And that's when it all fell apart.
Right. But I'm saying because of the expectation for the season you had, I was still like, 8-4 is at worst. Because this is an 8-4 team.
Yeah.
And you had Niall Davis back. You had Dennis Johnson. You still had Ronnie Wing.
It was a great team.
Yes,
yeah,
you had Chris Gregg. Like you had.
They were doing the ESPN
everything.
car wash in the offseason, and Skip Bayless was calling for a national championship to be celebrated at Grubb's.
Yes.
Or no, I'm sorry, it was Rick Riley. Rick Riley was calling for a national championship. Yeah.
It was that well, and I think
it was that kind of throwback.
That's the loss that will probably sting and be most impactful to me because of just how high the expectation was.
Okay.
Because even in the Chad Morris years, the expectation really wasn't that high.
Yeah.
And when those losses came, it's like, ugh. But that one was where it's like, oh, zero chance.
Worst loss.
Right. Yeah. So that's
Allison
probably you
guaranteed on television that morning. Guaranteed that Arkansas would win that game.
So it's her fault.
Yes. Yeah. That's why I bring it up.
I'm going to bring it up,
10 years later.
Yeah.
Yes.
Western Kentucky is a really infamous example because it was like shutting the door on Morris. But what do you guys think about that North Texas loss? I mean, I would argue that was the worst loss of Morris's era.
Arguably the most embarrassing because of the fake punt return.
Yeah, you got put on SportsCenter.
I think it was on the late
forever.
night. There was on the late night shows even. I think there was,
because it was such
they ran some of that because it was
such a joke.
It was so bad.
Yeah, that one sticks in the crawl a little bit just because of the replay of that. Either that or maybe the Auburn game of that. Was it the same year or maybe the year after when they tried to run that fake punt and the punter just like overshot it and the Auburn player was like, okay, and he just caught it. And
so I guess most embarrassing is the way to phrase this because you say worst loss, it's relative, right? Like some people would say the worst loss they've ever felt was the Alabama game in 2010 because of being up and you finally are going to beat.
Yeah, one of the
just the worst feeling, right?
One of the
out of a game.
One of the two games that I teared up at.
Right. But in terms of just most embarrassing, I think you know what?
That might be it.
I think North Texas is up, and no, it's not an offense to North Texas. It's how they did it, and it was so dominant.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it wasn't even close.
Yeah, from beginning to end.
It wasn't like ULM where they had to storm back and win late, and it felt bad, but it was like. It wasn't as embarrassing. It was just like heartbreaking. I mean, you lose your quarterback, and it just all fell apart. North Texas was like getting kicked in the groin repeatedly for 3 hours,
and it just didn't end. And you're just in shock of how this transpired.
So, congrats, Morris. There we go. Most embarrassing loss.
Yeah, you're gonna start having to ask these questions. Like in Corliss, the Chad Morris era.
Yeah.
It's almost like you just anything from that does not count.
That's a good point. You almost if you take those out, it does make it a lot more difficult.
I got that final score, by the way, 44-17.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It was.
I was there in person.
It was never close, and it was embarrassing.
I'm trying to think of the games that were the most embarrassing. I think I've been in person to all of them.
Oh, well, really? So maybe it's
like I was at the game that was 7-3 this year. That was pretty embarrassing.
Yeah.
I'll take the blame.
There you go.
I'll take the blame.
That's what leaders do.
Forget the other tens of thousands of people that are probably there
it's not the Razorbacks. It's me, guys.
Yeah.
I was there.
Yes. That's my fault.
It's also an incredible level of pride and ego into that too. Well done.
Yep. I mean, listen, people will hate on me for any reason.
That's right.
Just pile it on. Just throw it into the mix. I'll own it and I'll take it. Let's go to Ryan in Hot Springs. What's up, Ryan?
I like how y'all hadn't mentioned the Toledo loss.
That was a bad one.
I
Yeah.
thought about it. Yeah, that's a good one.
Line.
That's a good one.
Here's the deal. Coming off the season that you had, and then you have this highly touted offensive line, and you can't punch it in on multiple occasions against the Toledo team.
Yeah.
Come on now.
And I think, Ryan, if I'm not mistaken, I have to go back and look, but I'm pretty sure that game ended 16-12. Arkansas lost in Little Rock, but they had over 500 yards offense. Arkansas scored 12 points and had over 500 yards offense. And then Brandon Allen on the last play of the game, when they needed a touchdown, hits the goalpost. That was bad.
Well, the 512 yards should have been Toledo. All the yards in between. That was kind of what we were kind of known for, giving up a lot of yards in between the 20s, but not letting them score. So I just kind of feel like Arkansas kind of looked like the mid-major there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good callback. I thought about that one too. That was bad.
I think Arkansas also had a punt return for a touchdown get called back in that game.
Y'all were talking about Sam's talking about 9-4 being his best year. I still honestly feel like he does not get enough credit for. I know we only won 3 games that year, but we had 2 or 3 other games that we either you could make an argument we might have got fudged out of, or we're right there at a chance to win the All SEC year. To come into that season and to have that daunting of a schedule, and then to win 3 of them, really should have won probably at least 2 others.
It's COVID season.
Yeah. Well, the Auburn game you won. You won the Auburn game.
Right. And that's 4 right there. And then you had a legitimate shot at both the LSU and the Auburn game. Missouri and LSU, you had a legitimate shot at winning, and it didn't go your way. You know what I mean? Like to that schedule as a first-year coach ever at a major, to me that's pretty impressive.
No, I agree. And that was taking them out of the dumps of football hell. You know, that was truly the worst. Yeah.
Knowing that we had not won an SEC game in 2 years, and then his second try he does it.
Yeah.
After what Mississippi State had just done to LSU, somebody just assumed that Mississippi State was fixing a boat racing. But that's my thoughts. I hope y'all have a great day and go Hogs.
I got another one here on our Southern Structural Solutions text line. Can't forget the 4 interception game when we played San Jose State. Then the QB transferred there the year after. Yes.
Okay, well, let's get something straight. It was 5 interceptions.
That's right.
It was 5 picks that actually Nick Starkel threw.
I thought they shorted him one. That's right.
Yeah, so if we're going to start throwing stuff, let's get our facts straight.
That's right.
5 interceptions.
5 interceptions in a single game, and then he's like, you know what? It's not me, it's you. I'm transferring there.
If it wasn't for Matt Corral in 2020 throwing 6 interceptions against Arkansas in that one game, then that would be the one that would just continue. It was like, that was the worst quarterback performance I've ever seen. 5 picks. You got to try to find 5 interceptions. And, yeah, by the way, I looked up the Toledo game, but Brandon Allen had 412 yards passing.
Wow.
412 yards passing.
And
lost.
I do have an update for you.
Okay.
For all those who have been wondering.
National letter of intent.
Head coach Nathan Brown, the University of Central Arkansas Bears, says, nope, they sign and send a picture. Pretty simple these days.
Works too.
I'm glad that the times have caught up with letters of intent.
Yeah.
That's good.
And I guess that's probably the best way of knowing it's them, where you already got their phone number, so you know it's them. And if they send you a picture, there's no jokes or any trolling or any fraud that can take place. Because somebody could find out, oh, this is the fax number for the university, or we send this real quick and let them know about it. It's probably the best way of handling it. So, but yeah, we can't believe we're bringing up all the bad memories on Christmas time for Razorback football. But I mean, there's a lot of those, unfortunately, for Razorback football. But I'm just hoping that there's better days ahead, and I'm hoping that they have some great moments and great games. Because you think back just like 2 years ago when they beat Texas on the and that second game of the year and rushed the field, and how fun that was. And then, they went on and beat Texas A&M in that game after having that long losing streak. Got trounced by Georgia on the road. But even after that, man, you were able to put things together. You had some really nice wins. You beat Mississippi State in a really good, good and fun fashion. Beat LSU on the road. It's possible to get back to that point. But I had to take talking about calling people and talking them off a ledge. I had to talk to my brother the other day because he's like, I just feel like Arkansas football is just never going to be relevant. And I'm like, first off, I don't ever want to believe that because I don't want to ever root for a team that I have no hope in. But at the same time, it's proven with right people, you can win at Arkansas. You just got to get the right people. Like when Bobby Petrino, I'm going to bring him up. I know things have changed. But when Bobby Petrino was at Arkansas, that was really when the SEC was probably at its pinnacle of competitiveness, in my opinion. Because you were in the SEC West that had Les Miles, national championship coach. You had Nick Saban at Alabama. You had Dan Mullen at Mississippi State. Gene Chizik, say what you want about, won a national championship during that same era at Auburn. And
Houston Nutt.
And you had Houston Nutt. Yeah, can't forget him at Ole Miss.
I mean, yeah, you got to bring him in.
But even in the East, that was Urban Meyer. Mark Richt was still doing a good job at Georgia. Steve Spurrier at South Carolina was winning 11 games. James Franklin at Vanderbilt was doing big things.
He was there for a year.
Yeah. Or who?
James Franklin. Or 2 years, wasn't he?
No, he's there for like 4, I
Was he?
thought.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But either way, Arkansas won in that. And you can do it. You just got to have the right people. You just got to be able to.
I can make an argument, though, that it's about to get more competitive.
It is.
Because of the incoming teams in Oklahoma and Texas.
Question.
So
no question.
And the fact that we're eliminating divisions also ups the competitive level, because for the last several years, you can make a good argument that, oh, wow, if you're in the East, you got a shot outside, got a shot to, be in the top 3.
Right.
It was kind of a rotation in the top 3. You knew it was going to be in the top 2, typically Georgia. And then after that, I mean, Tennessee one year, Florida another year. It just kind of rotated. But now that divisions are eliminated, it's wide open.
Yeah, because the divisions itself, too, looking at the East especially, I have always felt like This past year is a great example, and even the year before is a great example, especially in the East. Because Georgia owns that division, realistically and mathematically, there's going to be a team that gets to 9, 10 wins out of that division. And each and every year, which you've noticed, has usually been someone different.
Mm-hmm. They rotate.
It was Missouri this year. Last year,
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Yep.
Before that, Florida. Like, there's been a little bit of that.
Yeah,
so
no, Georgia holds the top. They're the top placeholder.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, it's kind of a musical chairs.
Right. And in the SEC West, it's been pretty consistent. We're Bama. And after that, it's LSU.
Yeah.
And then maybe in that third spot is where it kind of rotates. Maybe it's A&M one year. Maybe it's Auburn one year. Maybe it's Ole Miss. But that's always been fascinating about the East is there's inevitably someone that's going to go 10 wins out of that division. And so now that the divisions will be officially eliminated, I'm wondering if that rotation of that random 10-win team every year is going to continue. Like, is it going to be more consistent, or is it going to be up in the air? Because I'm going to tell you,
open.
I'm telling you, Texas is going to be good in this conference.
Absolutely.
I am still suspect about Oklahoma. The only reason being is because they had a great year. But Jeff Levy's gone. I think he's a great offensive coordinator. Let's see how they follow up this past season this year.
And
next
Oklahoma's
year.
losing their quarterback. Dylan Gabriel's going to Oregon. So,
and Brent Venables in that first year, it was his first year. Wasn't great. Wasn't great. So let's see what they do in first year of SEC.
And that was with Levy and Gabriel.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because let's be honest, too. The SEC, I love it. They didn't do Texas and Oklahoma favors in scheduling. They didn't say, all right, let's make it light on you to start. No.
Which they should.
No. I think Oklahoma goes to Bama in year one. Like they
Welcome.
Yeah, it's like, hey, here you go. Let's see what you got. Mark is on the line. What's up, Mark?
Hey, man. Thanks for taking the call, John. I listen to you guys all the time, and I also am a huge and have been a lifetime Razorback fan. And I look at the upcoming year and the personnel that we have, and I hear the predictions from different media pundits about, oh, well, we ought to win 8, or we ought to win this, or we ought to win that. What we ought to win and what we're actually going to win are clearly two different things.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look back at our history in the SEC, since we've joined the SEC, I think actually you brought this up on one of the calls, right? We're 18 seasons in the SEC of the 24 below 500.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at next year, look at the personnel that you're not getting. I don't know how it's responsible to think that we would do anything other than 6-6 or 7-5, and ought to be pretty darn happy with it, considering the fact that we could go to a bowl game and build a program. I'd like to hear you guys' thoughts on that. It's not that I don't want the Razorbacks to do well. I definitely do.
Mm-hmm.
But when you pair it with, when you look through the lens of history, it never has looked that great. And we always throw our arms over the air and get all incredulous at the fact that we weren't at the very, very top. And it's not that I don't want to be. It's just that history's shown it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, hey, yeah. Appreciate it, Mark, and thanks for calling in. My reaction to that, Chris, is that if you take the entire encompassing of the SEC and you average it out, yes. But how much of it is weighed down by the last 10 years? Like, it all is. I mean, in the past 10 years, Arkansas has had 3 0-for seasons in the SEC. 3. And then 2 of those other seasons, they had 1 SEC win. So you're talking about half of the seasons the past 10 years have either ended with 0 or 1 SEC win.
Yeah.
And then you had, I think, 1 2-win season. You had a couple of 3 wins, a few 4, and 1 5. That's where it's at. But if you take it from 92 up to 2011, 12, like
if you do 12,
it's pretty solid. I think
you
average 3.5 wins in the SEC per year, maybe 4. But my point is you can look at it in its entirety. You can do all of that. But I don't think anybody right now is saying, oh, Sam Pittman in Arkansas, if they only get to 7 wins next year, 6 wins, we're infuriated and he needs to be fired. Like, at least I'm not saying that. I like to think that we're pretty realistic when we discuss the fact that there is an expectation in this conference. It's a tough thing to do. But at Arkansas, make a bowl game every year, average 6, 7, maybe 8 wins on occasion, and then every 4, 5 years, get to that 9 win, maybe 10. If you do that, I think people are overall going to be happy.
I think the problem is, and I agree with you, but the problem is that the expectations this year were 6 to 7 wins based on the really tough schedule that was on the table. You hear majority of fan calls were 6 to 7.
Yep.
And I think it's the perpetual falling short of even average expectations that gets the fans either angry or apathetic.
Yes.
Double A.
Yeah.
You pick one.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been the perennial problem. It has not been, oh, we should be number one. It's even when this expectation level is set reasonable at 6. Hey, you know what? Look at the schedule. Incredibly tough this year. Let's go to a bowl game and get through this and be happy with that.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they fell short of that, and not even short to where they could have competed for it on the last weekend.
Right.
When they should have, based on that last slate of games where you go, okay, you're all at home here. Just finish off strong and let's see what happens at the last game. Missouri will be a toss-up. And they didn't even get to that point. That, to me, has been the problem. And that's why fans get so angry and disappointed. Is because, hey, we set our expectations right, and you still fell short.
Yes.
That's the problem.
Yeah, that's what's going to get people emotional, because then the times that Arkansas did really well is when the expectations weren't too high.
Yeah.
But
and that's fine. If you set them like that and they go 9, everybody's happy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But when you set them at 6 and you go under, it's like, what are we doing here?
But to think about, like, right now, with the conversations we're having right now, if Arkansas went 7-5 this past season, just throwing it out there, they didn't. But if they did, there's a completely and totally different vibe of everything right now.
Oh, well, I'll tell you this.
And you could have even
Petrino's not hired.
No, and you could have even had 8 wins depending on the bowl game. But if you're going 8, if you followed up 7-6 by going 8-5 with a bowl win, which I don't think was unreasonable. It was not unreasonable to do that this past year. Everyone's feeling fine. No one's freaking out saying, this is bull crap. We're tired of this.
Let me ask you this. As big of a Petrino fan as you are,
Mm-hmm.
taking a 4-win season to get Petrino or winning 7 and not getting him, were you happy? Are you happier getting him, even if it meant having to go through suffering through this past season?
I guess it depends on what he does this year. I mean,
well, I know, no. You
depends.
don't get an answer after. But he's back, like you wanted. You wanted him back. You wanted him back for a long time.
No, I would have rather have taken 7 wins.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because if they got to 7 wins, then that means Enos did all right.
Right.
The
I
offense
agree.
worked. So, I'm not playing the long game of getting an offensive coordinator to mean to sacrifice and having a crappy season.
Okay.
I'd rather have a
I was
solid
testing your
season.
Petrino fandom because I know you are a huge Petrino fan.
I am a Petrino fanboy.
Yes,
as we all know. But
hashtag.
Hopefully
yes.
Hopefully he ends up doing great this year, though, so I can feel a little bit vindicated and justified. But still,
well, if he does, and this also needs to be said, if he does well, that means Sam did well. So
That's right.
Sam's not going anywhere if they do well.
That's right.
The idea of this is just Petrino positioning himself to take the no. Petrino and Sam are tied together now.
Mm-hmm.
They will. If one doesn't do well, they're both gone.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
That's a fact. And who knows if, and it's a big if, Arkansas was to even, like, say if Sam Pittman wanted to retire. Say they had great success and he wanted to retire, whatever. People are like, Petrino's going to come in. I mean, are we sure Petrino and his age and everything wants to take over an SEC program and go through that whole thing? Maybe he does. But is that what you want? Is that what he wants? Do you want a retread?
You would take it.
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't?
I wouldn't.
Really?
I wouldn't. And I'll tell you why. Let's take a break because I'll tell you why on the other side. But we got more on Trash Talk Thursday. Stay with us on Out of Bounds.
Let's know, I don't care what the weather may be.
Tune in every Friday morning to hear Danny West from hogsports.com on Morning Mayhem. Brought to you by HJ Trailer Sales. They've got truck beds and utility trailers for every type of job and a service facility for maintenance and repair. Local folks with great products. Visit them online at hjtrailersales.com or in person at 808 Albert Pike in Hot Springs.
This is SportsCenter.
Last night in college basketball, Arkansas State fell to Belmont 74-70. Their next game will be next Saturday on the 30th against Georgia State. Nationally, 4th-ranked Arizona took down Alabama and Phoenix 87-74. 21st-ranked Duke beat 10th-ranked Baylor 78-70. And 5th-ranked UConn fell to Seton Hall 75-60. And Arkansas basketball gets back to action tonight as they host Abilene Christian for their second-to-last game of the calendar year. Tip for the game is set for 6. Radio coverage will be on The Buzz starting at 5:30. TV coverage will be on SEC Network. I'm Christian Weaver with The Buzz Radio Network.
2023 is effectively in the can, and Courtney Buick GMC in North Little Rock is clearing all remaining pre-owned inventory with their 12 deals of Christmas sales. Call 501-945-4444. Unfortunately, when Christmas is over, tax season shows up and shows out, and no matter how big or small your business, you're going to need a vehicle to write off next year. But you simply can't get the tax credit you realize you need in January 2024. You have to act before the end of the year. Call 501-945-4444. The choice is yours. Either get ready to write the government a big check or four-wheel drive over that tax bill in a brand new ride from Courtney Buick GMC. Courtney Buick GMC, 5700 Landers Road in North Little Rock. Call 501-945-4444. GMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade. All offers with approved credit. Trade now before the lot is clear at the end of the year.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Get wings the way you want them. Try Twin Peaks wings bone-in breaded, naked, smoked and grilled, or boneless in your favorite sauce or rub.
New Year's means new equipment for you and your loved ones from River Valley Tractor, your leading Kubota dealers in Central Arkansas. Start your countdown at River Valley Tractor with big savings on Kubota compact tractors and implements built to last you through all your seasons. Ring in the new year with River Valley Tractor in Bryant, Sherwood, Conway, Russellville, and Pine Bluff. Visit rivervalleytractor.com today.
Here's NASCAR Hall of Famer Mark Martin.
As a race car driver for 40 years, I survived a lot of crashes. Not everyone can run into a wall at 200 miles an hour and walk away. Without a seatbelt, I wouldn't be alive today. Now I'm retired, back home in Arkansas driving my pickup. I'm shocked how many people aren't wearing seatbelts. Why risk your life when it only takes 2 seconds to buckle up? Take it from number 6. Buckle up, Arkansas.
A message from the Arkansas State Police Highway Safety Office.
Roger Scott. I'm going to talk to you about Sigma Supply Packaging Products and how they think outside the box. Sigma Supply, they're problem solvers. Now, they've been helping business owners for years with their waste audit analysis program. They're going to come in, they're going to analyze your packaging and shipping and see if automation is what you need to cut costs. Call or text sales manager David Breitenberg with Sigma Supply, and you can schedule your waste audit analysis. Here's the number, 501-617-4600. Sigma Supply Packaging Products. If you're not using Sigma Supply, you got low-grade product, man.
There's only one place to stop for the best in meats in Central Arkansas. It's Hoggs Meat Market. Check out their monthly package deals of the best meats online at hoggsmeatmarket.com. Hoggs Meat Market, the steak people. You're listening to Out of Bounds with John Nabors and Joe Franklin.
Ellis out front had it knocked away, got it back, drives the paint to the rim. It's good and one. How about that? Ellis, quick as a hiccup.
On 103.7 The Buzz.
Mistletoe, I'm gonna get to know you better this Christmas. And as we trim the tree, how much fun it's gonna be together this Christmas. Fireside is blazing bright.
Folks, Christmas time is officially here, so if you're looking for a last-minute gift, you better get over to Max Prairie Wings in Stuttgart because they have plenty, and when I say plenty of inventory on new firearms that you can get for yourself for Christmas or maybe for that loved one. Because right now, Max Prairie Wings is the place to go for that firearm, for that gun, and they're featuring up to $200 off select in-stock Browning shotguns and rifles, as well as a $75 rebate on Beretta A300 Ultima and $150 rebates on the Beretta A400. And they also have the Weatherby 18i Waterfowl 12-gauge Super Mag 3.5 in Mossy Oak Bottomland, and that's on sale at Max Prairie Wings for just $849.99. And as great and as many deals as they have when it comes to all guns, they have everything that you need to make your hunting experience the best one around. We know hunting season continues on, and a lot of you are going to be getting some of those gifts or maybe giving some of those gifts. So make sure you do it with Max Prairie Wings in Stuttgart. You can visit their store, or you can go online at maxpw.com. That's MACKSPW.com. It's Max Prairie Wings. The hunt begins here. It's Trash Talk Thursday here on Out of Bounds, and we appreciate everybody listening in. In fact, J.K. in Fairfield Bay says, I want to make sure I read this right. So, some of those things I want to read, and then I start, I'm like, wait a minute. Is this something I actually want to read? But no, J.K. is always great. But says, John, you work for the radio station in Northeast Arkansas. Listen to your broadcast while going to the Chiefs game swag after their win. You remember you came to the Buzz. Good. Get Merry Christmas, John. So I'm assuming that's a compliment, J.K. Sorry if I didn't read it correctly, but yes, I appreciate it. But yeah, it's Christmas time, and we've been talking a lot about the Razorbacks and signing day and football and everything. But I was pretty fascinated by this whole thing with Florida State, too. For those of you who may not know, Florida State is setting a meeting where they're going to be having
important.
it. Yeah, actually, it took place today already. But they're going to have this meeting where on the docket is going to be the future of their membership with the ACC. This is according to a report from Ross Dellinger, who Ross is one of the best in the business, especially when it comes to the behind the scenes of college football. It says the Board of Trustees hope to produce litigation for a potential exit strategy from the ACC's grant of rights. And as of now, a legal document ensures that Florida State cannot separate the bindings between them, the ACC, and ESPN for TV rights until 2035, 2036. And back in August, Florida State threatened that they would seriously consider leaving the conference without a radical change in revenue distribution, but it looks like that is back on the table.
Brett McMurphy from Action Network, also a pretty good
reputable source
in the world of college football, says Florida State starting the process of leaving ACC will have an Oppenheimer-like ripple effect through the college landscape, a source told Action Network HQ. As one of the biggest TV brands, FSU could land in Big Ten or SEC, and if those aren't options, the Big 12, sources said.
See, that's wild.
I love that they – you know what it is? They realized when they were left out of the college football playoff.
Yep.
And this is and look, I'm an alum of a school that just moved to a Power 5, okay, in UCF. And let me tell you something. FSU, as one of the premier brands in college football, looked at themselves and they said, they see us like that little school in Orlando.
Yeah. It's a big part of it.
They see us as, oh, that's nice, but
that's a good season, guys.
Hey, what a great story. Congrats. Now, let's move on to the others. That is how they were looked at.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was a huge wake-up call for them. Having Notre Dame come on as a football-only member / participant in your conference, they realized did not do anything for them. And they are now looking at themselves going, okay, are we really going to wait around 10 more years or 11 years to move into a conference that has a level of financial, the upper echelon of financial status.
Right.
And they can't. They have to. They realize if we don't do something, they just went undefeated.
Yep.
Undefeated.
Yep.
And they were told, yeah, that's great, but.
I take it, too, where if you're Florida State and the reasoning and the excuse that was used was about your quarterback getting hurt, which is legitimate. I mean, as far as seeing it, like I could see why they view it that way. But let's be very clear. Florida State probably looked at it the same way I would. Whereas like they were looking for a reason not to include us. And this quarterback thing was their ace in the hole. It was their trump card. It was where they could use that, be like, oh, well, see, this is why we can't get you in. Sorry. It sucks, man. I know.
Your quarterback is that good. He is that big of a part of your team.
Yes. They were looking for some sort of way to get him out. That's how I would view it. Because I never dreamed, even in the current state of college football playoffs, and I know it's changing and expanding, but I would never dream that an undefeated Power 5 team would ever be left out unless there were 4 other Power 5 undefeated teams from 4 other conferences. That would be the only way.
Not 2 one-loss teams jumping them, who played each other earlier this year, mind you. So you would think that would be the game that would keep one of them out. Hey, look, you lost, so you're out.
You're out.
But
it didn't go that way. No. And Florida State had every right to be upset, but I kept laughing at people who would call in on this show, who text in, even people who do shows on here, where they actually thought that the College Football Playoff Committee would leave out the SEC champion. You all who thought that they were going to leave Alabama out after winning the SEC, I have no idea. Have you been watching college football? Because
there were some reputable people though who still said it wouldn't. You know what? Hey, it could happen.
What we all knew, there was no way in God's green earth that they were going to leave the undefeated SEC champion, the SEC champion.
Not undefeated,
undefeated in the SEC, but not undefeated, but winning the SEC championship and having the name Bama. There was no way they're going to leave them out. It just wasn't going to happen.
Unless it was Arkansas.
yeah. And then it's Arkansas. They'd find because Arkansas would have been like Florida State.
That's right.
But I kind of hope it happens. I kind of hope Florida State leaves. I would love to have them in the SEC. I'll be honest.
I don't know how they're going to. But
see, I don't either. But we know there's no rules right now for anything. Nothing doesn't matter. So if they found a way, I would welcome them with open arms into the SEC because I would love to have a team like Florida State in the SEC. I think it'd be fun. They got a great football program. Their basketball programs, whatever, but they've had some good years. Leonard Hamilton's had some solid years. Baseball's always been really good.
Yeah.
So I think they would be a great addition, and I think it'd be fun for, say, Arkansas. Hey, let's go down to Tallahassee and see what their stadium's about. I'm hoping.
I still consider them, even though they certainly have just now gotten back to the highly relevant period, they're still one of the great programs.
I agree.
I mean, Bobby Bowden made them into a juggernaut. I mean, he built them up and made them into a national championship contender year in and year out. So, yeah, I think it would certainly in terms of brand and status, adding them to a conference would add a lot. And I think they're such a big puzzle piece of the ACC that I think it would start. I think Clemson immediately starts if they are able to break out. If they break out of that contract and that jail of what that contract is, Clemson would be next. Miami, I mean, you start to see more dominoes start to try and fall and figure out where else to go and see how they can get into a better conference.
And again, you don't think that the SEC would love to have Clemson and Florida State? Oh, Miami, you want to come? Okay, yeah, we can probably squeeze you in.
It only no. Here's why. You got to remember, in the world about money, it only benefits them on just branding and ratings, but not, that's still more revenue you have to share. Then you have to go back to your TV.
But you get more, though.
You have to get more from your TV network.
And I think you would because of the renegotiation.
If they could get more from their TV network, it would make sense. If they can't, they're not sharing.
Oh, no. I agree there.
Or if they really want to do it, then they do what they're doing to, SMU and some of the others where they go.
You don't get nothing.
Yeah, you can come. You're going to get this little tiny sliver. Your first few years is kind of like a little hazing period, and then you'll be a full member. That's right.
You got to earn it. So
how bad do you want to leave the ACC? But I do think the Big Ten would be a suitor, and I think the Big 12 would also look into it.
Yeah, they all would.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a negotiation. I think if Florida State could break free, it would be interesting negotiations between those three conferences and figuring out which one makes sense.
100%.
Big Ten makes the most sense, by the way, in terms of TV deals. And
here's
why.
Yes.
Because
multi-platforms?
Well, and they don't have any teams in the state of Florida. Big 12 has teams in the state of Florida. SEC has teams in the state of Florida.
Yeah, that's true.
The Big 10 does not. So you get more rights fees.
For another state.
For a state that you aren't currently in. So in terms
Florida's a big one.
Florida is a big one. That would be a huge one for the Big 10.
Yes, it would. Hey, we actually got to take a break. We're kind of getting behind it. That's okay.
Sorry.
No, it's a good conversation. That's why, I call it zone breaks. That's what we do. We just wait until the very end and take it, and then our final segment of the hour is like 5 seconds. So it's fine.
So
we're going to make it work.
We'll get the callers in after.
Yes, because I know Chuck and even Navy Mike.
That's right.
We're going to get to you guys. Just hold on. We'll make it work for you on the other side of the break. So stay with us on the Trash Talk Thursday here on Out of Bounds.
I'll be home for Christmas.
Hey, this is Mitch at Red River Ram, Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer, and I've never been so happy as to introduce the Wrap Up the End of the Year sales event. Folks, we've got 20% off 23 brand new Ram heavy duties, never been seen before. That's up to $18,000 off sticker. And you half-ton buyers, we've got 24 model Ram 1500s at $15,000 off. Make that beautiful drive to Heber Springs or check us out online at redriverram.com.
The season of giving is here.
Luckily, Santa has a new tool this year. From John Deere apparel, toys, tools, and more. GoGreenway.com has something green for everyone under the tree. No sled needed. Our elves will ship these gifts directly to your door. Cross off your Christmas list today at GoGreenway.com. Greenway Equipment wishes you and your family a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
This is the Pigskin Preacher, bringing you the word. A recent headline in the Washington Post jumped off the page. A plane fueled by fat and sugar has crossed the Atlantic Ocean. At first, I thought this meant those passengers shared my affinity for non-healthy snacks, but it was actually about the sustainable aviation fuel made from things like corn, animal fat, algae, municipal trash, and sewage. Okay. There are at least a few of us, though, that would just as soon use regular jet fuel and not fry the friendly skies until they actually figure this out. When you walk into a Doublebee's location, you'll always be greeted with a welcome to Doublebee's. We are an Arkansas company serving Arkansans with 34 locations across the natural state. Doublebee's. It's where you gas it, grab it, and go. That's Doublebee's.
Ready to change your phone service? You got to check out Boost Infinite Wireless at boostinfinite.com. You get their low-priced service and a brand new iPhone every year. And Boost Infinite's new technology gives you 3 networks for the price of 1. So you get the best quality calls and data anywhere you are. No one can do that except Boost. Switch today at boostinfinite.com or call 855-55-BOOST. See boostinfinite.com for terms and conditions.
Don't miss out on new deals every day during Lowe's 25 Days of Deals. Right now, get up to 50% off select tools and accessories and check off gifts for everyone on your list. Plus, get up to 2 select tools free when you buy a select toolkit. Shop online and pick up curbside for holiday shopping made easy. Because Lowe's knows deals every day. Valid through 12/24 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Randy Rainwater brings Drive Time Sports to Conway this Friday, broadcasting live from the all-new Genesis of Conway, the only Genesis dealer in the state of Arkansas. Open now at 1075 Collier Drive. Special thanks to Larry's Pizza of Conway.
You knew the risks when you decided to drive drunk. There could be a crash. People could get hurt or killed. But that didn't stop you, did it? You knew you could get arrested. You could incur huge legal expenses, and you could possibly even lose your job. You were well aware of the consequences of driving drunk. But one thing's for sure. You were wrong when you said it was no big deal. Drive sober or get pulled over.
Paid for by the Arkansas Highway Safety Office.
Southern Bank presents Family Feud on 103.7 The Buzz. Tune in to Morning Mayhem on Tuesday mornings for your chance to play with Justin Moore, David, and Roger. Family Feud on Morning Mayhem brought to you by Southern Bank. Bankwithsouthern.com.
Gwatney Chevrolet is Arkansas's #1 Chevy dealer. They've been in business 60-plus years with an award-winning sales and service staff. Give them a call at 501-982-2102 or shop them online at GwatneyChevrolet.com. At GwatneyChevrolet.com, you can check out their inventory of new and pre-owned vehicles. You can even appraise a vehicle on GwatneyChevrolet.com. See just how much your vehicle is worth. Gwatney Chevrolet is giving thousands over book value on trade-ins. And also, you can sell a vehicle to Gwatney Chevrolet. Check out the new Suburbans and Tahoes, along with Silverado, Blazer, Equinox, and my favorite, Malibu. Gwatney Chevrolet also has convenient Saturday service hours from 7 a.m. till noon. So if you need to get a vehicle service, contact Gwatney Chevrolet for that as well. Gwatney Chevrolet is located off the Gregory Street exit in Jacksonville. It's Gwatney Chevrolet, Arkansas's #1 Chevy dealer. Gwatney Chevrolet, GwatneyChevrolet.com.
Make it the event that everyone wants to attend by getting your meat for tailgates, parties, or just family get-togethers at Hoggs Meat Market. Hoggs Meat Market, the steak people. You're listening to Out of Bounds with John Nabors and Joe Franklin.
You know that metal plate in my head?
How can I forget?
I had to have it replaced because every time Catherine revved up the microwave, I'd piss my pants and forget who I was for a half hour or so. I don't know if I ought to go sailing down no hill with nothing between the ground and my brain but a piece of government plastic.
On 103.7 The Buzz.
It's the most wonderful time.
It's out of bounds here, folks. We just got a couple minutes before we take a top-of-the-hour update, so we'll try to see if we can get some of these phone calls in before we take that top-of-the-hour update. So, Chuck, want to talk about Florida State with us? What's up, Chuck?
What's up, y'all? All right. My issue with it is that it's funny how we just had a discussion about Florida State and what a draw they would be if we added them to the SEC. But I'd be willing to bet my next paycheck that the discussion within the committee had nothing to do with which team was most deserving. They were worried about what the TV ratings on the matchups was going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted that Texas-Alabama matchup so bad. They wanted that national championship matchup, and they were going to make it happen even if they had to screw Florida State for it. Because there's honestly, everybody talks about how weak of a conference the Big 12 is, and the only two real players in there are leaving to come to the SEC, and the rest of the kind of weak sister. Well, Texas only played two real challenging games all season long. They beat Alabama back when they had quarterback problems, and they lost a regular season game to Oklahoma. Florida State didn't lose any games at all, and their non-conference included SEC games. It makes zero sense to me that Texas is even in this position. Of all the teams involved that were one-loss teams, Georgia lost one game to a conference champion Alabama. Alabama lost one game to a conference champion Texas, and Texas lost one game to Oklahoma. That should be the game that eliminated them. And ESPN has so much control. I swear to God, the next time that Jim Harbaugh gets in trouble, it's going to be ESPN that finds him, not the NCAA.
Yeah, no, and hey, we appreciate the phone call, Chuck, and I think, you made a lot of great points. There's a lot of truth to it. It's like the control is by the TV and the matchups that they want it, and we all know that. But, again, that's why going to 12 teams is going to fix all these problems.
They just couldn't do – this was the perfect reason why they're going. The worst part is that it couldn't happen this year.
Right. Because if this year – if something happened to where it's not this way, we're not even arguing about it or not even talking about it. But that's also where it's kind of like, well, next year it's going to be fixed. So it's why get so upset about
Florida
it when
State's
it's already
probably
done.
not talking about leaving right now.
Nah, it's amazing how things change just in that quick moment in time. We'll get to more Out of Bounds in the third hour coming up next. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Rick Pennington of Lions Drug. We have great news. Generic Cialis is now available at a huge savings. We have Tadalafil, the FDA-approved generic of Cialis, in a 20-milligram tablet at a savings of up to 80%. We have the 5-milligram daily tablets for less than $3 a pill. Lions Drug continues to be your go-to pharmacy for men's health. What are you waiting for? Call us today at 844-676-2247 or go to our website at lionsdrug.com.
'Twas the month of Christmas, and the fat man had a bone to pick. A peculiar problem for old Saint Nick. All his elves had lost their ways, because instead of toys, everyone wanted new Hyundais. Santa nearly went insane over the getaway sales event at Chris Crane. But when he saw the SUVs of Hyundai, Santa declared, I too shall upgrade my sleigh. So if you hear a rumble in the night with a sleek new Hyundai in sight, just know it's Santa on his way in a new Palisade from Chris Crane Hyundai.
Court TV's Chanley Painter checks in with Morning Mayhem courtesy of the Gangster Museum of America and the Hattery of Hot Springs. The former Miss Arkansas will fill us in on the latest high-profile cases. Don't miss Chanley Painter with Morning Mayhem on 103.7 The Buzz.
This is Larry Culpepper, the inventor of the college football playoff. When I'm in Arkansas, I always listen to 103.7 The Buzz. Ice cold, Dr. Pepper, help!
Buzz News.
3-2, police are investigating a shooting that involved the death of 2 people. It happened near the Bethesda Missionary Baptist Church. The LRPD found 2 people dead from apparent gunshot wounds. The police have not identified the 2 people who were killed. There's no word on what led to the shooting or a description of a suspect. Anyone with information is urged to contact the Major Crimes Division. An Arkansas man is accused of attempting to bring a diaper full of bullets through a TSA checkpoint. Agents at New York's LaGuardia Airport say they found 17 bullets hidden inside a diaper in the unidentified passenger's luggage. The man claims he didn't know how that diaper ended up in his bag, later saying his girlfriend must have packed it. Port Authority police charged him with unlawful possession of the 9mm ammunition. For more news and weather, download our free KATV news and weather apps. From the Channel 7 Newsroom, I'm Ashley Lunningham.
It's the Average Guy Movie Review, Thursdays in the Zone, with me, Justin Acree, and Wes Moore, presented by Rock and Roll Sushi. Our friends from Rock and Roll Sushi will come in and recap or look ahead to what's trending on TV, the big screen, Netflix, or wherever you get your entertainment. It's presented by Rock and Roll Sushi, deliciously twisted flavors and a rock and roll vibe that'll blow your mind. rockandrollsushi.com.
Weather from the Fletcher Weather Center with Channel 7's Melinda Mayo.
One last dry day before our rain chances begin. 58 with mostly cloudy skies today, down to just 43 tonight. Mostly light showers Friday and Saturday, but much better rain chances and heavier on Sunday. From the Channel 7 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Melinda Mayo.
Today's special at the Riverfront Steakhouse in the Wyndham Hotel. Dinner for 2 for $60. Split a 10-ounce filet, fried shrimp, and our famous salad bar.
Hey, it's Coach Z, Razorback basketball color analyst. I'll be on Out of Bounds Tuesdays this basketball season, recapping the Hoggs. I can't wait. Thanks to Telco Federal Credit Union, providing homes since 1950 for your dream home, duck cabin, home remodel, or vehicle. Check them out online at telco.com.
Hey, did you know the Statue of Liberty is the largest holiday gift ever given?
That's a big deal, just like those at the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Hey, did you know when the year ends, so do the deals? It's your journey. Own every mile at the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Get 0% APR for 60 months, plus 0 payments for 90 days, or get up to $2,500 bonus cash on the Hyundai Tucson. Now for a limited time, only during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Offers end January 2nd. Call 469-613-0227 for details.
Hey, I don't care what kind of tractor you drive or what color it is. I'm going to ask you to check out a new tractor that's made for landscapers, hobby farmers, and landowners. Fully loaded with features and backed by a strong warranty. Get the best incentives of the year right now by visiting TYMOffers.com. Better yet, visit Triple C Sales in Conway. TYM, durable and affordable. You can thank me later. And oh yeah, the tractor is red.
Does anyone feel like life is busier than ever, especially with the holidays? I'm a planner and try to think of it all. But what about the unexpected? Now, I've got that covered. My husband and I finally got life insurance with SelectQuote, and I couldn't believe how easy and affordable it was. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40, and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. This holiday season, I feel a little lighter, knowing my family is protected and ready for whatever the new year throws our way.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-656-1970. That's 1-800-656-1970. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-656-1970. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Tune in every Monday night at 7 during basketball season for the Eric Musselman Show. Coach will break down gameplay and strategy. Brought to you by Genesis of Conway, Arkansas's only Genesis dealership. The all-new Genesis of Conway, now open at 1075 Collier Drive.
Congratulations, you're having a little girl.
At that moment, everything changed. Our hopes and dreams for ourselves were instantly replaced by our hopes and dreams for her. We got life insurance policies from Shelter Insurance, so that regardless of what life throws at us, we'll still be able to provide the world to her.
Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
See Shelter agents Chad Kesterson in Arkadelphia, Kyle Stone in Pine Bluff, or Blake Jumper in Benton.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-687-5192. That's 800-687-5192. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-687-5192. Live from the Hoggs Meat Market Studios, this is Out of Bounds.
I still think on the defensive side, out of the portal, I think you'd need a corner, a linebacker. Obviously, I think you would need an edge and an interior. So there's 4. On the offensive side of the ball, I think we need another interior offensive lineman. I think we're fine at tight end. I think we're fine at quarterback. I think we need a running back out of the portal and a wide receiver. So I think that's probably pretty close to 8 right there.
With John Nabors.
Every time you put him back in my face, I'm going to say Arkansas.
And Joe Franklin.
We won't go in the shell. We won't go in attack mode because that's what's required.
On 103.7 The Buzz.
2 hours down, 1 hour to go. Appreciate everybody listening in on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. John Nabors, Chris Kane, got Ethan on the ones and twos here from the Hoggs Meat Market Studios with you today. And thank you as always for making us a part of your afternoon. This afternoon, it's been a great Trash Talk Thursday. And as a reminder, folks, tomorrow we will be out at Twin Peaks in Little Rock. So come on out and see us. We'll be there from 1 to 4. And Joe's going to be coming back, making a little... I guess a sabbatical from a sabbatical, if you want to call it that. But he'll be there live, and we'll have some fun and previewing the weekend that will be of sports, which hopefully will be a great one on Christmas. I know that.
Some bowl games this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
NBA games I know is always a big deal on Christmas Day.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And NFL games.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, NBA always used to own Christmas Day, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was their thing. And then
Until
the NFL was like, this Christmas thing, we're the most popular sport. Yeah, we want to get in on that.
Yes, yes. The same thing with I think about the college football playoff semifinals. Those are usually on New Year's Eve. And now they're having to move it to New Year's Day because it's on a Sunday, New Year's Eve would be, where there's NFL games. And they're like, we ain't trying to go up against that. We ain't trying to compete.
College football should kind of thank the NFL for not impeding on Saturdays during college football season. They wait, right?
Right.
It's almost like this understanding where they're like, you know what? You give us a free minor league system, so, yeah, we won't encroach.
I'm still surprised that the NFL hasn't moved to where they're having games not on Wednesday night or on a Tuesday night.
They'd have to do it with teams coming off bye weeks.
I know.
Yeah,
but they could.
They could. Yeah.
They could do it. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
People are going to watch it no matter what. I mean, you're telling me that there's if it's not a great matchup, but if there's an NFL game on a Tuesday night, yeah, I'm probably going to watch it. Same thing on a Wednesday. Friday makes sense because they're never going to have that on Fridays, I would think.
Yeah.
In fact, most people are going out. And
There
I
have
don't
been
know. Maybe I'm wrong.
some people who've theorized that the NFL could have a game on every night of the week and do just fine. And probably so.
I mean, for crying out loud, their Thursday night game is streamed only.
Yeah.
And they're still doing fine.
Fortunately, it's on a platform for them that is, heavily used.
Mm-hmm. Still not a huge fan of it, but nonetheless. Let's go back to the phone lines. Navy, Mike has been patiently holding. What's up, Navy? Navy?
Hey, what's up, guys?
There he is.
Hey.
What's up, man?
Hey, what's up? The Florida State thing is interesting. You guys saying that the Big Ten could be the most attractive option for them, and I agree with the reasons for that. But another
Get us. Hold on, wait. Get a signal.
Yeah, you
reset there.
Oh man, jeez, the phone lines.
I know y'all had this problem yesterday, too.
We have it all the time, apparently. I don't know why that is the case. Yeah, man. You know, and I'll say this in the Christmas spirit. You know what? I love each and every one of our listeners. Each and every one of you. The guys and gals that hate on us even and say horrible things in our Gangster Museum of America Live fan feedback.
That's how you know they care.
Yeah, I love them all.
Yeah.
I will say, though, that there are some callers.
I sense a big butt coming around the corner.
That if the phone lines are a little messed up and not working totally for a select few callers, I'm not too upset by it. Just saying. I'm not going to name names, but just know that I'm okay with it. That's fine.
Well, maybe for Christmas we'll get some new phone lines around here, because it's not just some of the regular lines. Some of the hotlines recently have kind of acted up a little bit too.
I know, which again I don't understand. I don't know, and I've been trying. People have been yelling at me. They're just like, and I love how there's no patience. There's no grace. Some people, when it comes to phone lines, they text in and be like, "What kind of station are you? You're not even professional. What kind of crap is this? I'm turning the channel. You guys suck. You can't get your phone lines right." It's like, my gosh, relax. We're trying. We're doing our best here. Either way. On our Southern Structural Solutions text line, we were talking about the Florida State situation. Hawk fan James says, how would they put Florida State in the SEC? Good question. I'll leave that to the people that put Missouri in the East. I guess kind of making a joke about the fact that they were in the East even though they're not the East.
Yeah, but since there's no more divisions, it wouldn't matter.
Yeah. I'm so happy for that. I know old Rick Schaefer's upset because they're getting rid of divisions. I think divisions are dumb. They served a purpose, but they're dumb. Basketball and SEC got wise of it years ago because nobody wanted to see the 1 seed Kentucky out of the East and the 1 seed Alabama out of the West who went 9-7. No one wants to see that. Just put the 2 best teams in there and seed it out that way. And I know in basketball and in baseball, it's a playoff or tournament, but in football, I want to see the 2 best teams. And if the 2 best teams happen to be Alabama and LSU, let's see it in the SEC championship game. I've felt that way about it all. And it should be that way.
So you just said I want to see the 2 best teams. I want to see the 2 best teams.
Yeah.
How does that? Do you think that Alabama is worse than Florida State?
No.
I'm just taking our college foot. So
I don't think Alabama's. You're asking me, do I think Alabama's worse?
So I want to talk about the college football playoff a little bit more, but using the same argument you just made about divisions.
But I have a counter to that.
Go for it.
Okay, the reason I justified in it because in the SEC, we've seen them play against each other in these games. But in the college football playoff, we haven't been able to see these playoff teams go up against each other. Except for, I know Texas and Alabama played already, and I still believe Florida State deserved to be in.
I know you do. That's why I'm asking. So if you think that the 4 best teams should be in, or the 2 best teams, right,
in the SEC
championship game, wouldn't that same kind of mentality go to the college football playoff, where if you believe Florida State, even if they're undefeated,
right,
is not as good as Alabama right now in this day and time, then Florida State shouldn't be in, right?
Correct.
Okay.
But that's why I don't have a problem with Bama being in either.
Okay.
I'd like everyone to be in is the point.
Yeah.
I think all those teams, Bama and Florida State and Georgia.
Hey, I was about to say, and Georgia.
Yeah.
Leaving them out is kind of crazy just because of a 3-point loss.
And Ohio State.
Yeah.
Put them all in. They all deserve a chance at it. That's my point. But the SEC championship or the SEC in football, you at least, have division or you have standings. So you can see what your record was. And you're like, okay, who went undefeated? All right. Who did another team go undefeated? No. Okay. So 7-1. All right. 7-1. And then if there's multiple 7-1 teams, have the tiebreaker. Did they have a head-to-head? Who won that matchup? That you actually see it. But in this case, in the college football playoff, which of course is the exception now being Florida State because they did go undefeated, but in most cases, anyone that gets into the playoff is either going to have no losses or 1 loss. So it's a matter of how you decide. There's no standings that you can look at and say, well, this is why this team's better. And in the SEC, you do have those standings. You have the number of you had 8 games. How many of them did you win? If 2 teams went 8-0, those are the 2 best teams. Team went 8-0 and another one 7-1. Those are the 2 best teams. Draw it from that is my point.
Is there any part of you that has thought about the fact that the 2 best teams in the SEC typically going to be 1 or 0 losses, right? Typically.
Right. Typically.
In an expanded playoff, you think that they'll be in no matter what, even if the team with 1 loss loses 2, they'll be in. However, if it was a 4-team playoff like right now, theoretically one could be left out.
You're talking about from the SEC.
From the SEC. So, why I think it's better moving forward? Yes. With a 12-team playoff? Yes. But it's better to wait and do that until it's expanded. Otherwise, if you have a team with 2 losses in the SEC and they go to the SEC championship game if the divisions weren't around, then you'd risk leaving one of them out of the college football playoff.
Correct. Yeah.
If they sat there idle with 1 loss because they were, if it's LSU or Alabama or whoever, they could sit there idle with 1 loss and wait and still make the college football playoff at 4. At 12, you're not as concerned. But if they had not done that up until this point, would there have been 2 SEC teams in every playoff? I'd have to go back and look and see.
Probably some cases where it would be.
Yeah.
Probably so. And
because we've seen in years past sitting idle. We saw Bama sit idle one year.
Yes, it happened.
And it worked.
Yeah. And, Ohio State, it didn't work that year, but they sat idle one time, and they won the semifinal at least.
Right.
So it has happened, and
where it's been beneficial to sit idle.
Right.
And not risk losing that other game.
Right. And this
that's with a 14.
Right.
Yeah.
And with the 12, though, again, if you're somebody that's in that position and you sit idly, you're still going to have, because of the 12-team playoff, a chance.
Yeah.
And the winning the SEC championship game, having that extra game in that extra conference, that, assuming that it's going to be the format that we've been hearing, that gives you the luxury of having a higher seed. And if you get a top 4 seed, you get a game, either a bye. Yeah, a bye. And then in the other cases, in the next 4 teams, those teams get on-campus games.
Right.
So there's a luxury to it. So no matter what, the team that had to play that extra game in the conference championship game, well, they're not going to have to play an extra game in the playoff more often than not. There may be some. But then on the other side, if you sat idly, you're like, well, we have to play one less game and blah, blah, blah. Well, you're more than likely going to get a home game for your playoff game. So I think that there's going to be complaints or some growing pains in all of it. But if the way that they set it up with 12 teams and the rankings and all of that, I think it's going to work out just fine.
Well, and let me ask you this. Are you a fan of always adding 2? Like Florida State calling the special board of trustees meeting for Friday morning to meet about their future in the ACC. Would you add just them, or would you always want to pair?
You want to pair.
You always want to pair. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's how most conferences did, except for the Big 12.
I was about to say, the Big 12 was just kind of pulling after.
But they were able to have so little amount of teams that they were able to play each other every single time.
Right.
Whenever they were, I guess, was it 9?
9, I
yeah,
think 9.
when it went down to 9. So there was that benefit where, it was an odd number, but because everyone played each other, there wasn't this weird, okay, so you didn't play you, and there's some team left out that's kind of on an island. Like, what do I do? It made sense for that. But, you got to add 2. It's got to be in pairs. It's got to be an even number because that just will complicate things, which I guess with the ACC, though, since they're adding SMU, Cal? and it's not, is it Stanford? Yeah, it's Stanford. If you're adding those 3 teams, and they already have, maybe this is all part of Florida State leaving, and then, I don't know, man. It's hard to keep up with as it is. College football, without a question, again, in the past 2 years, year and a half, has just become absurd.
It's most fascinating.
Yes. I can't keep up with it. And every element has changed. Players, rosters, coaches, conferences, postseasons. Every single thing has had drastic changes in the past year and a half.
Like Arkansas hiring Bobby Petrino back in the grand scheme of things isn't that crazy because it's college football.
No. In fact,
even after what happened.
Unhinged nature is what makes college football great. Stuff like that. Stuff like a player.
It can't happen in the real world.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like coaches getting fired because of a rivalry game against 2 average Mississippi schools. A player scores a touchdown and lifts his leg to urinate. And because of that celebration, cost them an extra point, that cost them to go to the overtime, that cost them the game, and that coach of that team gets fired.
That's right.
That's college football in a nutshell. That's the unhinged nature of why it's my favorite sport, hands down, is because there's no other sport that can do that for you, where it's our favorite game. Football in general is the greatest game in America. It's the most popular sport by far, the game of football. And when you mix that in with regionally based teams, like, you got Arkansas. You got 2 schools in Bama. They don't have any pro teams in Bama. There's no pro teams in Mississippi. No pro teams in Arkansas. Like, that's what they do. That's what they have. And you have a bunch of not full adult men. You have 18 to 21-year-old kids out there doing crazy stuff. and having crazy things. And then the coaches were doing whatever it's taking to make these kids happy to stay at their school and to come to their school. So much so that some of them are going to go weird with it, where they're, having crazy parties and they may be, offering things that aren't exactly the most appropriate. But it's just why I love it so much. It's so unpredictable. It's so wild. It's so much fun. And I would not change it for the world.
I would like to say something about the college football playoff discussion earlier. We have so many talks now about how college football and pro football are starting to draw closer together, about how college athletes are becoming, more professional in college instead of developing during their rookie season, right? Learning how to have money and things like that. I just think that the playoff, like things that the NCAA does, it seems like they want them to be these professional athletes, though, because like having a playoff system, right? It was 2014, I believe, was the first year they had the playoff.
Yeah, 2014 was I believe so.
So
2014, 2015 in there, yeah.
Well, because even before the NIL started, to me, the transfer portal was going crazy in like the late 2010s. So I don't know. I feel like we're asking that these guys are competing for like a seeding position in like a playoff instead of doing what we used to do, where it's just your bowl game at the end of the year and you're just standing on your pride and things of that nature. We love to discuss things like that, but we're asking them to play in playoffs like they're professional athletes. Doesn't that kind of feel a little silly to you guys?
Well, it is silly if it was 20, 30 years ago.
It's true.
But now, because of how much money's involved and because of the archaic way of deciding a champion, where it's still, to this day, the dumbest sport of deciding a champion.
Absolutely.
It's one of the most popular sports, but is the dumbest sport of deciding a champion. Even right now. Because the Florida State deal is the greatest example of it, but you have a sport where a team can go undefeated and have zero chance of winning a championship. It's the only sport in any league, at any level, and anywhere that allows that to happen.
Yeah, because it's, as we mentioned, the playoff is more of a facade. It's an invitation.
It's a joke.
Yeah.
It's a joke. And it's about who do we like the most. We have a bunch of committee members where half of them aren't even involved in football, sitting in a room and making sure that they take a picture of like, hey, we're watching the game in our chairs. We're sitting here, we're studying. And you're watching the Florida State ACC championship game or whatever. And I'm like, are you guys really just sitting there? And are one of you going, you know what? Yeah, that was a bad looking play there. I'm gonna have to mark that. And okay. Florida State had a nice little play there right now. Like, are they? No. Just look at the results. Who cares? Like, I just have a hard time believing that they're sitting there taking notes about the game itself in the ACC championship game, and that's what's going to dictate whether or not we allow Florida State to get in or not. It's a facade, as you said. Yeah. It's a presentation. It's a joke. But that's why, at least with the 12 teams, there will be, in most people's minds, a fair shake at anyone who had a regular season deserving to win a national championship will have a chance to win the national championship, and it's up to them on the field to decide if they're good enough.
There will still be debate over the last couple teams
sure.
Of course, but you won't have to worry. It'll be more about splitting hairs and diving down deeper into strength of schedule and some of those other different layers of evaluation instead of how do you leave an undefeated team in a Power 5 conference or Power 4, whatever it's going to be.
Yeah.
But, all right, I got to go back to something thanks
to
our Southern Structural Solutions text line. This texter wrote in earlier. You were talking about Petrino and why he wouldn't want to be the head coach at Arkansas. Remember you said, I'll save it for after the break. And
I did say that, didn't I?
I said, why wouldn't you want that?
Yeah.
And you said, I'll save it for after the break.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah. Okay. So I am ready.
You got your argument ready of why? Because it surprised me when you said that.
Yeah.
Because you've been one of the biggest Petrino proponents, and he brought the university.
You did.
Not arguably, but the greatest success it's had since joining the SEC.
Right. No, there's no question. And I've always been very strong on not having a retread for the sake of having a retread. I feel like that's what gets a lot of schools in bad ways when they continue to try to live in those moments of like, well, we know that this guy was great as a head coach, so 10 years, 15 years after the fact, he can still be great. When, in that case, you may have missed out on someone who could have been a lot better, could have been a lot more energized, could have been younger, could have been embracing of the NIL, all of that stuff. And you missed out on it because you're like, well, this guy was great once, and we really love him, and he's a good offensive coordinator, he's done good. But don't just do it by default. If he's the best option, if you went through and you vetted a lot of different coaches that could possibly be the next head coach of your school, and either they turned you down or you didn't like what you saw, and Petrino was truly the best one, okay, that's one thing. But to go from where you're having success as an offense, Pittman steps down or, resigns, retires, whatever you want to call it, and then to just hand the reins to Petrino because, it's Petrino, I don't like that. And so that's where I would not like him to be the coach. Because,
head coach.
Yeah, head coach. Head coach. Because if you do that, you didn't do your due diligence. You didn't, because it goes back to the whole, even the Bielema thing. I believe, just from what I've heard and everything, Jeff Long hired Bielema when he fired Petrino. That's how, it was a handshake thing. Hey, he's coming. He's our guy. And it was one of those deals where Bielema was like, hey, I got to give me till this year, though. I'm coming off these Big Ten championships, and I got a great team coming here, and I have certain things in my contract, money-wise.
In the spring of in April of 2012,
right,
after Petrino was fired.
Because if you remember,
because it was after everything.
Yep. You remember Brett? It was either Jeff Long or Brett Bielema or both. They said, he wrote him a handwritten note saying how much he appreciated the way he handled the Bobby Petrino thing. What that was I want to be your coach. And I think Jeff Long knew it. And I think that's why, because if you remember, Chris, there was not a peep of any sort of coaching, interviews or anything during that entire span for Arkansas. Not one. Not anything from legitimacy. Not one. And in this day and age, something comes out. Some things get leaked. Somebody's talking to somebody. But not one. Because I believe that they knew it was Brett Bielema, so he didn't even talk to anybody else, at least not seriously. And I think that was a problem because you could have had other coaches, maybe a Gus Malzahn, maybe just throwing names, not saying they would have come, but a Mike Gundy, a Chris Peterson, Gary Patterson, guys that people wanted. Because you didn't even reach out and talk to him, you ended up having an issue there. And that's what I would be fearful of with Petrino, where you miss out because you just said, okay, well, he's our guy because he's here. It's easy. Don't take the easy way out. Do your due diligence, do your job, and hire the best person. And I just don't know if Petrino, at that point in time, would be the best coach that Arkansas could hire. In 2023.
Yeah. Or 24, 5, 6, whatever.
Heading into that spot,
yeah.
I just don't know who'd be that, especially because of NIL has changed so much, man. And you need an Eric Musselman. You need a guy who's like, I love this stuff. I'm embracing it, and I cannot wait.
Yeah, someone who doesn't go against it because it's not the way it once was.
Right.
Yeah.
I want someone who embraces it. I don't, and I think there's a lot of coaches, old school coaches that have been around forever, that are struggling with it. I'm looking at a guy like Dabo Swinney. I think he's struggling with it. Nick Saban, I think, is just so iconic, and it transcends.
I was about to say, and Bama kind of the financial backing that they have at Bama just kind of takes care of itself.
Right. Well, do you think Jim Harbaugh is not embracing of the new way? Because who's in the playoff? He is.
Yeah.
Steve Sarkisian and Texas, you don't think they're embracing? Of course they are. Even
Lane Kiffin, obviously.
Yeah, Lane Kiffin, all in on it. These coaches, Shane Beamer, I don't even like the guy. I don't think he's that great, but at least he's been someone who's embraced it. Those are the kind of coaches you need. You need someone who's going to embrace it. And I don't know if Sam Pittman has done maybe as good enough of a job of it, but I also can't totally blame him because when they hired him, NIL wasn't even a thing. And so it's just a matter of, I don't think Petrino would be a guy that's willing to do whatever it takes to pay a bunch of money to a player to get him to come here. It just doesn't have that vibe. Maybe I'm wrong. It just doesn't have that vibe. Before we take a break real quick, let's go to Ty Fish, who's on the line. What's up, Ty Fish?
Hey, man, you guys are absolutely right, man. Petrino wasn't our guy, man. We could have came down to Central Arkansas and got Kevin Kelly or a whole lot of other coaches. If the coach that went to Auburn and Malzahn, if he can do it, Coach Kelly can do it. I mean, this guy's a great mind of coaching. The coach at New England wouldn't have called him out there to hang out with him if he wasn't a great mind.
So why has no other college hired Kevin Kelly?
Well, I mean, it's another aspect to that, but I'm talking about for as an offensive coordinator.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying anything against Kevin Kelly or anything. I'm just saying, if that's the case, how is no other school, even if it's a non-Power 5 school, no one's giving him a shot at it?
Well, I think it's because he went to a bad situation, and when you go to a bad situation, you got to dig your way out of that, and that's probably what he's doing at this point.
Well, I mean, again, I'm not saying you're wrong or anything, but it's always going to be hindsight because who knows? Ty Fish, maybe it works out. Maybe it does work out for Petrino. And if you know what? If it doesn't, it's going to be cleaning house and they're going to move on. They're going to find somebody else. And who knows? Maybe Kevin Kelly will be the guy. Who knows?
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great show.
Hey, appreciate it. Thanks, Ty Fish.
If it doesn't work out, then we can put it to rest.
Thank goodness. This will be closure.
This is it, right? This is no more, hey, I tell you what, they got to bring – no. They did. If it doesn't work out,
man, I'm telling you right now,
that gets
man.
put to rest.
I'm not saying it'll happen, but if they get this offense buzzing somehow, like looking like Petrino-type offense this year, man, you're going to find yourself in quite a pickle because now you're like, what do we do here? You just pit because then people are going to start coming for Petrino once again. I think as a head coach,
I mean, they might, but he might be content making
maybe he is.
$1.5 million living. He likes the Ozarks. He likes Fayetteville.
Maybe so.
He has a lot of friends here in the state still. Maybe he's content just cooking in the kitchen and not having to be an ambassador for the program anymore.
Not having to do press conferences.
Bobby doesn't like talking to the media.
Yeah.
Don't have to do that when you're offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Just about once a week and during media days.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, and then even during media days, you probably won't have to do much of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, just
hide in the back.
All he's got to do is just come out. I mean, Taylor's doing a great job. He's doing a great job throwing the ball, and I really like what he's doing. So he's a good player. We're moving forward with him, and things are going good. Just like okay,
we love Jay Wright.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate you. You're greatest. We got more Out of Bounds coming up next. Stay with us.
Well, every Christmas Eve, he'd climb on his sled full of toys with the dual exhaust, side mirrors, the foxtails, mud flaps, and leopard skin seat covers, and spread Christmas cheer to all good livers.
Listen every Wednesday when RJ Hawk joins his old buddies on Morning Mayhem. Presented by Natural State Wholesale Flooring. See everything that Natural State Wholesale has to offer at naturalstatewholesale.com.
This is Sports Center.
Last night in college basketball, Arkansas State fell to Belmont 74-70. Their next game will be next Saturday on the 30th against Georgia State. Nationally, 4th-ranked Arizona took down Alabama and Phoenix 87-74. 21st-ranked Duke beat 10th-ranked Baylor 78-70. And 5th-ranked UConn fell to Seton Hall 75-60. And Arkansas basketball gets back to action tonight as they host Abilene Christian for their second-to-last game of the calendar year. Tip for the game is set for 6. Radio coverage will be on The Buzz starting at 5:30. TV coverage will be on SEC Network. I'm Christian Weaver with The Buzz Radio Network.
Twin Peaks is honoring the pursuit of brews and barrel-aged bourbon every Friday at their Bourbon and Brews party. Get to Twin Peaks from 5 to 7 to experience a lingerie costume party paired with exceptional bourbons, tastings, and giveaways. Cheers!
Willie D's Rock and Roll Piano Bar open every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Cold drinks and dueling pianos. Deep Nightclub downstairs hosts karaoke on Tuesdays and DJ spin on Friday and Saturday nights. Visit WillieD'sPianoBar.com.
It's football time in Arkansas. Step up to the line of scrimmage each Tuesday during Drive Time Sports for Scoop and Score with me, Kevin Bohannon. I'll give you the latest news and information about anything football from high school to college in the Natural State. Special thanks to the Wood family of dealerships in Batesville for making this all happen.
Hey, it's Matt Zimmerman for Telco Federal Credit Union. Looking for your next truck and shocked by the prices? As a member of Telco Federal Credit Union, they can help finance your next purchase, whether from a dealership or from an individual. Telco can even finance your out-of-state funds, and if needed, they can help with vehicle values and negotiation tips. The local team at Telco Federal Credit Union will find you the right loan, the lowest rate, and make the process easy. Stop in, log on, or call 501-375-5321.
2023 is effectively in the can, and Gwatney Buick GMC in North Little Rock is clearing all remaining pre-owned inventory with their 12 deals of Christmas sales. Call 501-945-4444. Unfortunately, when Christmas is over, tax season shows up and shows out, and no matter how big or small your business, you're going to need a vehicle to write off next year. But you simply can't get the tax credit you realize you need in January 2024. You have to act before the end of the year. Call 501-945-4444. The choice is yours. Either get ready to write the government a big check or four-wheel drive over that tax bill in a brand new ride. From Gwatney Buick GMC. Watney, Buick, GMC, 5700 Landers Road in North Little Rock. Call 501-945-4444. Watney, Buick, GMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade. All offers with approved credit. Trade now before the lot is clear at the end of the year.
The open road is calling, and no matter if it's the beach, mountains, or deep in the forest, All About Tire and Brake Tire Pros will have you ready to take on the unexpected. Need the perfect shotgun rider for your trip? Michelin's road-hugging tires have been the go-to brand for generations of adventure seekers and are sure to keep you on the road to greatness. Your next road trip is waiting. Visit in stores or online at allabouttireandbrake.com. Tire Pros. Love the drive.
Roger Scott. I'm going to talk to you about Sigma Supply Packaging Products and how they think outside the box. Sigma Supply, they're problem solvers. Now, they've been helping business owners for years with their waste audit analysis program. They're going to come in, they're going to analyze your packaging and shipping and see if automation is what you need to cut costs. Call or text sales manager David Breitenberg with Sigma Supply, and you can schedule your waste audit analysis. Here's the number, 501-617-4600. Sigma Supply Packaging Products. If you're not using Sigma Supply, you got low-grade product, man.
At Twin Peaks, sports and scenic views go hand in hand. Twin Peaks is your ultimate sports lodge with a menu to match. Pair any of our made-from-scratch menu items with a frosty 29-degree draft beer served by a beautiful Twin Peaks girl, and you're in for a legendary sports watching experience. Twin Peaks has convenient seating inside and out, and a fire pit outside to keep you warm on those crisp, cool nights. And with the wall-to-wall TVs at Twin Peaks, you'll never miss a play. Catch all the sports this season, whether it's NFL, NBA, college football, college basketball, boxing, and UFC. It's all at Twin Peaks. You have 2 happy hours to choose from, one from 2 to 7, and another from 10 till close. Get lunch at Twin Peaks featuring savory soups, salads, and a variety of sandwiches. There's a contactless menu option, which means you just scan the QR code on your table and browse the menu. Order online courtesy of DoorDash, Postmates, and Uber Eats. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, scenic views.
Get only the best customer service and the best selection of meats at Hoggs Meat Market, where they have sliced boar head deli meats and cheeses. Hoggs Meat Market, the steak people. You're listening to Out of Bounds with John Nabors and Joe Franklin.
Can I refill your eggnog for you? Get you something to eat? Drive you out to the middle of nowhere? Leave you for dead?
No, I'm doing just fine, Clark.
On 103.7 The Buzz.
I don't want a lot for Christmas. There is just one thing I need. I don't care about the presents underneath the Christmas tree. I just want you for my own, more than you could ever know. Make my wish come true. All I want for Christmas is you.
You know, I don't care that we played this song yesterday during the show. I'm playing it again because it's one of my favorites for Christmas song-wise. Modern Christmas song. I'm going to keep playing it. It's great.
Providing generational wealth to her children. And her, but I mean, to her children. I mean, she makes insane amounts of money every Christmas season.
That's one, talking about summer topics. I would love to do like the research of finding out which celebrities make the most money yearly off of something they did years ago. Like, like hearing like Seinfeld and the members of Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Like each of them, they're still making like millions every year.
Yeah, in syndication. So Mariah Carey makes roughly $2.5 to $3 million every year, just in this song.
Off of this song alone.
Yep,
dude.
Just off
I got into
one
the wrong
Christmas
business. I should have made a Christmas song that was fire. I could have just had all the money and done it that way. But
yeah,
I should have done that. Should have made that happen. But still, that's like I love that stuff where you're able to sign those contracts because I think some about the members of Friends too had a ton of money.
They got $1 million an episode back when no one was getting $1 million an episode, and they all joined together and said, "You're paying all of us $1 million an episode for this."
And that was also back when the seasons were like 24 episodes. It wasn't like Game of Thrones and stuff where it's like, hey, you get one
Capping
year.
at 10.
Yeah, 10 at the max.
Yes.
Maybe 8.
Yeah, that's right.
But, yeah, that was so, man, I think that they're probably, it's probably why a lot of them didn't worry about having to, like, oh, man, I got to make sure my career stays relevant and everything. It's like, oh, I'm good on money.
Yeah.
I don't have to do that. I mean, Jennifer Aniston by far is the most famous of them all to come out of it.
Yeah, they all went on to do,
different things.
I think they were all successful in their own way after that. But Jennifer Aniston definitely launched ahead of
because
everybody
even
else.
David Schwimmer is like just random stuff here and there.
He'll be in stuff.
Yeah. He was in the OJ made for the People versus OJ Simpson because he was
played
perfect.
the Kardashian,
Yeah,
Robert Kardashian.
He looked just like him.
Yeah,
so
that was great.
Pulled that one off, but
I need to go back and rewatch it. There have been certain shows that I need to go back and rewatch. That's one of them. That was
the People versus OJ Simpson.
That was a really good
Dude,
one.
I've always said I'm fascinated by certain things in history. And there's nothing that I can never get enough information on than the O.J. Simpson trial.
It's amazing
because it was the first thing in my childhood that I remember, like the first big, like national crazy story that everyone was talking about. That's the first one I remember ever as a kid was the O.J. Simpson.
I remember asking my dad, "Can we go home and watch the O.J. trial?" I mean, it was a national.
Yes.
It was a national talking point. Even as kids, we knew what was going on.
Yes, they were busting out of daytime programming just to play live. And how absurd is that when you think about it? A court case of murder live streamed essentially.
Celebrity changes everything.
And and everyone was glued to it. But because the reason I remember is it was my mom, the day of it was the White Blazer day, January 17th or June. Sorry,
Bronco.
June.
Bronco.
Yeah, or Bronco.
Yeah.
June 17th. And I remember it was my mom's birthday. So my dad went out, so we went to my aunt's house to just hang out. We were like playing Sega Genesis, and like my aunt comes in there. She's like, "No, you guys got to turn it off. Like we got to watch this. I just got a call that O.J. Simpson's running from the police." I remember we had to turn it off, and then we had to. She's like, "Help us!" It's like, "See if you can look at the TV and find the white Bronco." See, because they couldn't find it. You remember they were like videoing it all over the place. So I was like, I just remember that very vividly as a kid.
So that was O.J. Versus the People versus O.J. right on FX.
Yes,
the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
And then did you watch O.J. Made America, the documentary?
Yeah, incredible.
Ezra Edelman, it was incredible.
Incredible,
so good.
Like I could not get enough of that. And sometimes I'll still
it's 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, by the way.
Well, it deserves it.
Yeah.
It was so well done and really put things into perspective and went through it all and gave the details of the behind the scenes and the interviews too. Like I think everybody pretty much got interviewed except for was it Chris Darden? I think was the only one that did not. Because Marcia Clark
was in it, yeah.
Mark Furman was in it.
Oh yes, that's right. Yeah.
They obviously some of the passing of the Dream Team, but like F. Lee Bailey was still in it.
Kato was still in it.
Yeah, Kato Kalin. Just like
I know,
stuff like that. It's
the
such
characters
a joke,
are
man.
amazing.
It's such a joke, but it's
Amazing.
so hilarious. I know we could sit here and talk about OJ, but let's get Randy
Back
in
to
here.
Bobby.
Yeah, back to Petrino. What's up,
Yes.
Randy?
I was just going to say, Petrino is the best thing that could happen to Pittman. I think Petrino was brought in just to put the tension over on Bobby Petrino, take it off of Sam Pittman when he was getting hammered everywhere in the press. And it's worked, and I think they knew that, and I think that was the plan.
Well,
it certainly worked. It worked absolutely.
I think Juracek was able to do that because of his Musselman. He's got such a great record of getting to the finals in the tournament. It's made Juracek look really good and boosted his little power up a little bit. And I think he was able to do that with Petrino. Petrino, I think he messed himself up when on his way out. Should he be forgiven for that? Maybe, but should he be rehired for that? In my opinion, not. But that's my opinion. And y'all have a great day.
All right, Merry
Thanks.
Christmas, Randy. Appreciate it.
It definitely took the heat. I mean, if he had not made that hire, there would still be people calling in right now. If it was head coach.
And
angry about it.
It was the right thing to do. And here's the deal. Again, folks, we won't know.
Calm the storm.
We won't know, but if it if it works this year and Arkansas's back on track, it's going to be awesome and everyone's going to be so happy that they hired him back. But if it doesn't, guess what? They all get fired anyways. And then you get your wish. So we'll see. We will see. I like it. I like the fact they're doing it, but we still got to see more. But we will see a little bit more of Out of Bounds because we have our final segment coming up, and it's 3 and Out, so you better stay with us here on a Trash Talk Thursday.
Hey, did you know the Statue of Liberty is the largest holiday gift ever given?
That's a big deal, just like those at the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Hey, did you know when the year ends, so do the deals? It's your journey. Own every mile at the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event.
Get 0% APR for 60 months, plus 0 payments for 90 days, or get up to $2,500 bonus cash on the Hyundai Tucson. Now for a limited time, only during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Offers end January 2nd. Call 469-613-0227 for details.
Today is the day. After countless hours of research, cutting back expenses, and 9 months of anxiously waiting for her, today is the day you finally bring home your new car. It's also the day to protect her with an auto policy from Shelter Insurance. Our policies are competitively priced and include new car replacement coverage if anything were to happen to your new baby.
See Shelter agents Steve Ferguson in Little Rock, Todd Session in Morrilton, or Kyle Stone in Pine Bluff.
Hey guys, it's Dee Dee with Ava Bella Day Spa. It's Christmas time again. We have our Jingle Bell special, which is $100, and that's an entire facial treatment. We also have our wonderful Christmas time special. You get a stress reliever massage, a peppermint scalp massage, and a foot scrub, all for $125. Just go to avabellaDaySpa.com, click on Instant Gift Certificates, and you can purchase it right there. Send it to your recipient or print it out. Happy holidays!
RJ Hawk here with Chris Roberts from Southern Bank. And Chris, I know interest rates are high right now. That's what everybody's talking about. But if you're thinking about a project, whether it be a commercial project or you want to build a house, now's the time to come talk to you about what those future plans may look like.
You know, RJ, no matter what the business environment may be, we're always there to sit down with our customers and talk about their future plans and what's going on with their businesses.
And that's one thing about Southern Bank is they're a community bank. They want to be your partner.
Partnering with our customers is a key to how we do business.
And Chris, you know, we talk about those interest rates being high, but the one good news out of that is deposit rates.
We have some great CD and checking account rates. Just give us a call and see what one of our personal bankers can do for you.
If you want more information about interest rates or those deposit rates that we just talked about, call Chris and his team today at 501-424-0900 or go online at bankwithsouthern.com. Southern Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
This is Pat Bradley for River City Flooring, where you can pick your payment. Get 0% interest for 12, 24, or 36 months, and River City Flooring in Maumelle is where you'll save 50% on all in-stock waterproof LVP flooring. And did you know River City Flooring carries cabinets? So stop in and let my friends at River City Flooring help you with your remodel. Kitchen, bath, living, dining, they do it all. Check out River City Flooring in Maumelle at their huge new showroom on Maumelle Boulevard just off 430.
Some people are born for more fun, more freedom, more excitement. Some people are born and see the future before it's here. They see the GV70 for its sleek design and unmatched handling and performance. They see the G90 for its space, luxury, smooth ride, and unsurpassed technology. What were you born for? The all-new Genesis of Conway, now open at 1075 Collier Drive in Conway. The future of luxury, today.
This is Pat Bradley for Alcoa Community Federal Credit Union in their New Year's Auto Loan Special. Listen close, offer ends January 31st. 3.99% interest on 22, 23, and 24 models. No payments for 90 days or up to 84 months financing. Don't delay. The Alcoa Community FCU New Year's Auto Loan Special with rates as low as 3.99% ends January 31st. Get pre-approved online at alcoacommunityfcu.org. Serving Saline, Grant, Garland, Hot Spring, and Perry counties.
Check out Hoggs Meat Market's monthly specials and meat packages at hoggsmeatmarket.com. Hoggs Meat Market, the steak people.
Kane is in the building.
Their time is done. It's over.
Over? Did you say over?
Nonsense. I've not yet begun to defile myself.
Call Kenny Loggins because you're in the danger zone.
I play real sports, not trying to be the best at exercising.
It's time for 3 and Out. It's been 3 hours, and we are...
Boom. Out of here.
All right, it is time for 3 and Out. A few headlines, a few storylines, a few things that we got to dive into. But before we do that, folks, I want to remind you that Courtney Chevrolet in Jacksonville is your one-stop shop for all things vehicles. I am so excited because I, as many of you know, bought me a new truck from Courtney Chevrolet last week, and right now they're taking care of it for me. They're making sure that it's ready to go, and it'll be here tomorrow, and I cannot tell you how excited I am because it's a brand new truck, brand new Silverado that is so beautiful, and I'm excited about that. But what's made it even more fun for me and more easy, I guess I should say, for me, is because of how well they took care of me. And it's not because I'm special, because I'm not. That's what they do for everybody. It's the customer service that they provide. They are going to do whatever it takes to get you in the vehicle that you want. And on top of that, when they do get you into that vehicle, they're not just going to wipe their hands and say, all right, good luck, buddy, we got our check. No, they're going to make sure that after the sale, you're taken care of. Do you have everything you need? Do you have any sort of extras that we can help and provide? When you need service on your vehicle, when you need maintenance on your vehicle, bring it here. We're going to make sure you get taken care of. We're going to make sure that you need to get to where you're going by having a shuttle service take you to wherever. All those things only possible with Courtney Chevrolet, and they still got plenty of inventory on their Silverados and on their Blazers, on everything. So check them out today. They're conveniently located right there off the Gregory Street exit in Jacksonville at 1301 TP White Drive. You can also shop them online at GuatneyChevrolet.com. No matter what it is, do it with Courtney, and we know Christmas time is right here around the corner. What better way than to present yourself or a loved one with a great new vehicle from Courtney Chevrolet? So check them out today. It's Courtney Chevrolet and GuatneyChevrolet.com. Again, it's 3 and Outs, and appreciate Chris Kane coming and hanging out with us today.
Glad to be here.
Got big plans for Christmas, by the way?
Going to go down and visit Mama. Going to go see her down in Florida and have Christmas with some family down there. So
yeah,
be heading down and then heading back.
How pumped are you for that?
I'm pretty excited. Yeah, I mean, it's from what I was told, it's warm down there in Jacksonville. So
define. Okay, so what's warm? Give us what is warm?
Oh, that's a good point. So it's relative, right? I think it's like 70-something degrees down there.
Oh yeah, I'm taking that all day.
That's what I said. I'm packing shorts and a t-shirt if it's 70. I feel great.
See, if it even cracks 65, I'm wearing shorts.
Yes.
No matter what.
At this time of the year?
I'm a big shorts guy.
Feels great.
I'd rather have shorts and a sweatshirt like I'm wearing today than have short or jeans.
You're not a jean guy?
I mean, I'll wear it, but it's like if it's one of those things where you got to have one or the other, it's like warm enough to where you either go with a t-shirt and jeans or you go with shorts and a long sleeve. I'm taking shorts and a long sleeve.
But see, I'll tell you something. So growing up both down there for 10 years and up here for 10 years, I like when it's cold on Christmas. Warm on Christmas is weird to me. It's just seasonally
I don't like
not right. So I'm all good with waking up at 38 degrees on Christmas morning. Like, let's do it. Down there, if I'm waking up and it's 50, I'm like, okay, a little balmy.
Yeah.
But it's fine.
Still
Beer
works.
family.
Yeah, I'm kind of weird. Not to get real weird, but like
go for it.
Joggers type of thing. Start getting into those a little bit. I have bird dogs. I don't know if you ever wore bird dogs.
I've seen the ads.
Dude,
have not gotten them.
These are bird dog shorts I'm wearing. I got a pair of bird dog pants. Best thing ever. Oh my God. And they're so great. Like, they're not for everybody because it's like if you feel weird where, not that they're tight fitting, but they're form fitting. You know, they like, you know, if
did you see an ad on social media and buy them?
No, they actually were given to me because I partnered with them on my other venture.
Very nice.
So yeah, so they sent them to me for free, and I was like, I don't know about this.
You ever buy anything when you see an ad or like on social media?
Oh yeah, I have. Yeah.
Like on a whim, you're just like, oh, that looks cool.
Vineyard Vines, I've done that.
Really?
I'm a big Vineyard Vines fan.
Okay, you and Jim Nance.
Yeah, I'm in good company.
Yeah.
So it's but yes, I have done that to where I'm on Instagram or whatever, and they'll be like, flash sale, 70% off. I'm like, well, I got to see what they have.
You're in,
70%, I can take that all day. But yeah, I've done that quite a few times before. Have you done that?
Yeah. I've had some like impulse buys on, like you see something on. I've never bought anything off Twitter. Elon Musk is listening. Yeah, never bought anything off Twitter. I don't trust anything on Twitter, except for.
I mean, do you really trust anything on Instagram? Though?
Not really, but it just Twitter is like this non-existent world of just mess. Instagram, I trust it less than I probably. Or I trust it more than I probably should, but there's some things on there I'm like, okay, I'll give it a try. Especially if a friend recommends it. It changes things, right?
Yeah.
If they're not like an influencer, like, oh, hey, I like this thing.
That's fair.
I bought it. I'll give it a shot.
Because I've never, bought anything off Twitter either. Like it's from an ad.
Ever.
And
No.
I don't think I have on Facebook.
Twitter will even their community notes will call out their own advertisers for being false or misleading.
I've seen that, and I actually appreciate it.
Which is great because they're like, yeah, we'll take your money, but we'll call you out for your BS.
Yeah, because I saw something that there was like some sort of car cleaner or like something that like a dent remover, something like that. And I just saw it was like community notes. I'm like, on an ad?
Yeah.
And I started reading it, and they're like, actually, it doesn't really do this.
That's right.
And I'm like, you know what? And I know like you know,
like
Twitter's not the greatest, but I at least like Twitter from that front where it's like, at least you're like, hey, we're going to let everybody know.
We're going to take
like
their money and call them out.
Yes. And then if they get mad, it'll be like, we'll stop lying to people.
That's right.
And we'll have no problems there. So, anyways, a few other fun headlines to get into. So, here's one I thought was great. There were a lot of Guinness Book of World Records. I guess it's not Guinness Book because it's not books anymore, but Guinness World Records that were broken this year. Here are some of the 10 oddest ones that were broken this year. The most skips by a cat in 1 minute with a jump rope.
What?
Apparently the record's now 9. So there's that.
Huh. You think we could break that?
I don't know.
9 doesn't seem that much.
From a jump roping cat?
I mean,
I don't know.
We'll talk about it.
I mean, it's a Guinness Book of World Records. Like, I don't know. I guess somebody didn't do it.
I'm not a cat person, but 9 seems feasible.
How about this? The loudest burp from a female.
Oh, boy.
The record was 107.3 decibels. I'm like, dude. And I'm like, I was going to try to play the video and the audio from it, but it's way too long and too much. But it's like, yeah. How about this? The longest distance, full body, on fire run without oxygen. It was 272.25 meters.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. How about this? The longest tongue on a living dog, 14 centimeters. Most spoons balanced on the body, 88 spoons. Most magic tricks done underwater in 3 minutes, 38. This is so ridiculous. Most couples eating a single piece of spaghetti simultaneously, like Lady in the Tramp style. The record is 463 pairs. The fastest time to assemble a Mr. Potato Head blindfolded, 11 and a half seconds. Longest mustache on a living person, male. I'll make sure we do that. Record is 63 centimeters, which is more than 2 feet. And the fastest 5 meters on a scooter by a parrot, 14.6 seconds. So I thought it would be always a really fun content piece to find random records like this, and just as average Joes, I guess, just be like, you know what, let's try and see if maybe we can do
Which of
this.
those do you feel most confident on? I'm saying the cat with the jump rope.
That honestly, because the other stuff is just like what you're born with, like the dog with the tongue.
Yeah,
it's probably that. Because I don't think I could balance 88 spoons on my body.
Do you know a female that could burp over 103.7 decibels, which is great, by the way? By the way, 120 can cause immediate harm to your ears. 120 decibels. So they're just under that,
dude.
Which is kind of amazing. Do you know any women out there who could burp extremely loud?
I do, but if someone, I don't think that loud. But if I met a girl that did that, I might propose.
You should
be like, you know what, this is it.
We're meant to be.
Yeah, it's like I feel like I'm Booger from Revenge of the Nerds or something like that.
Can you throw out a live one too?
Yeah, because I mean, if she, well, not that. I mean, I have to have a couple Coke Zeros to really get the carbonation going. But I just sat there and I'm like, man, how does one decide that? How does a girl decide, hey, measure the decibels because I think I can burp louder than anybody?
It was probably someone who told her, like, oh, my God, you're the loudest burper ever. Let's see how loud you are.
No, they found out, and she's the loudest.
Congrats.
Imagine being the second, though, the second loudest burp.
It's not as...
It's like, yeah, you don't want to be known for that. That's when it gets weird. So I'd like to know what the second and third place winners are.
I'm going to look up this winner.
Yeah, let's do that. Appreciate everybody listening in Out of Bounds today. Appreciate Ethan. Appreciate you, Chris Kane. Have a Merry Christmas, you guys. And we got more Drive Time Sports coming up next, so you better stay with us.
Is your heating system ready for winter? Middleton Heat and